我想和你一样深醉，我想有你一样的能力，想有你的誓言来看世界，想有青春生命无限的活力。我想和你一样深醉，我想有你一样的能力，想有你的誓言来看世界，想有青春生命无限的活力。我想和你一样深邃，我想有你一样的能力，想有你的誓言来看世界，想有青春生命无限的活力。
Dance for Super. The Dragons teach us that if we want to climb high, we must do it against the wind.
And good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another day of Overwatch League action here in day 2 of the kickoff clash in the APAC region. I am Ilios. We will be your guides yet again as I am joined by Avril. And yeah, it's going to be a good time. We saw some pretty crazy things happening yesterday, Avril. But now we get to send one of our teams home in our first matchup as we take a look at the Hangzhou Spark and the Seoul Dynasty.
It ends so soon. I mean, we just got here. We just ended up in the tournament bracket for the kickoff clash in East Division, and already somebody's got to go. There's only 4 teams here. One just ends up being eliminated today between Hangzhou and Seoul. So pretty tight games. Honestly, it's still close enough that it's a little uncertain who is, you know, maybe the very best team and who is maybe the team that will definitely go home. I mean, I think we know that Dragons is somewhat ahead right now. We know that Hangzhou definitely struggled a bit yesterday. But still, I think the 4 teams are generally competitive enough that I don't even know if I trust those results to say for sure who's going to be the better team in these matches.
Yeah, and I think we're kind of seeing that not just here in the APAC region. A lot of people have been saying, like, oh, APAC is so difficult to predict. It seems like everywhere is difficult to predict right now. NA putting up some crazy results as well. So I think people's plans just across the board kind of getting boomed. And you love to see that. You love to see that tightness in the competitiveness between these teams rather than, you know, just being able to punch down onto a lower team constantly. You know, the level of play has overall risen here in the 2022 season, but Hangzhou and Dynasty going to be duking it out. First winner will stay alive and have a chance to make it into the grand finals tomorrow, but the loser unfortunately has to stay home, I suppose. No going home, because unfortunately we don't have LANs. We're not in Dallas live like everybody else. They're getting spoiled over there, but it's fine. We're getting spoiled with incredible gameplay. Here's our starting lineup for the side of the Seoul Dynasty. Nothing to be surprised by whatsoever.
I'll tell you what, though, Seth. Last year in 2021, we had all the home stands. Okay, they get to have some LAN events this time around, and eventually, who knows, maybe we could all get together, pending how things go. But let's take a look at Seoul first and foremost. Standard starting lineup here. Not expecting Stalker to come in just yet. Seoul, everybody's been, I mean, it's been gelling. It's been working, except it doesn't work against Shanghai. I think that's just the one caveat. They can't seem to beat Shanghai. I believe the record now between 20 overall matches is like 12 to Shanghai and 8 to Dynasty. And something like 5 or 6 of those from the Shanghai winning pool is like all their recent games. Seoul haven't beat Shanghai since like 2020 playoffs or something like that. So it was
the lower final of 2020,
exactly.
And then that got them into the grand final for the Dynasty versus the Shock. Yeah, it's been a good long while since they've been able to best them.
But they're a good team. They did well yesterday. It's just against Shanghai, something happens. That rivalry doesn't work out well for Seoul. Hopefully better against the Hangzhou Spark, who themselves, I think, I was personally probably a little bit let down by their match yesterday, to be honest with you, because they came in as the first seed. They'd beaten the Philadelphia Fusion 3-2 previously, and I think despite it being fairly competitive, at least on the first two maps, once we got the Gibraltar, didn't start to look that good. That was a very awkward map for the Hangzhou Spark. I believe it was something like a 4-minute time bank for Fusion, capping it fully way through, and then Spark got full hell, just nothing to show at all. They completely forgot how to play on that map. I think Queen Street ended up being quite competitive again. I think that was like a 0.01 meter win or something like that. We even had the visual bug come up that made things a little bit more confusing. Pretty sure that game came down to an interesting grab by Burner into a solo Death Blossom by Alfie that only killed Carpe, and then they got a negative trade off that. But at least the last map ended up being fairly close. But I don't think that's the best we've seen of Spark. That actually felt like one of their weaker games over the course of the season.
Yeah, I mean, we'll have to see how they rally back, because obviously they're going to be hungry to carry on throughout this tournament. They want to be victorious. The Dynasty is right there with them. I think that they're going to be frustrated given that they have not been able to beat Shanghai Dragons. I think they're going to be frustrated given that they lost to the Spark in their opening match of the season. And I think that they want some revenge. It's all about who can perform on the day, though, as we've been seeing across both regions. Anybody can beat anyone on a given day, depending on the prep, depending on how dialed in you are once you enter the server. So we'll see who is a bit more prepared, because this is a veteran squad. You've got some young gun people here from the side of the Hangzhou Spark that are getting ready to try to make a name for themselves. Alpha Yi has really been making a statement, you know, obviously for a Rookie of the Year candidacy. And I think it's been a bit of a renaissance for Bernard as well, who's been looking utterly incredible. Shy finally having a squad around him that can really perform. This whole team across the board has been looking fantastic, but they are going up against the Dynasty that does have, you know, champions on this roster.
And this is the type of matchup now, both this one, Seoul versus Spark, and also later on Fusion versus Shanghai. I mean, obviously it's a rematch because we've had a round robin in our Kickoff Clash opening qualifier stage, right? But it's their first games. The very first game of the season in APAC was Philly versus Shanghai. On that same day, Seoul opened up their season versus Hangzhou's opening game of the season, which is against each other. That ended up going 3-1 the way of the Hangzhou Spark. But a very, I think, poor performing Seoul compared to what we have now. Spark came out the gates quite hot. And now yesterday, didn't think their performance was that good. So I don't know if they've peaked already. I don't know if Seoul are peaking now. That's probably dangerous for Spark if Seoul are peaking now and Spark are kind of shifting down. But I believe that Spark can go back to where they've been recently. An additional note here as well. I'm pretty sure Spark is the highest seed. They do come in as the #1 seed. They should have the map pick. They have chosen Ilios.
That they have, but I think that both of these teams, if you start having that conversation around, you know, have they peaked yet? They'd give you the Dennis Reynolds. They haven't even begun to peak, Avril. You are about to witness it here as they look to transform into the Golden Gods. Right? Yeah. We'll see who can get it done, though, as we do kick things off on Ilios. Of course, the rest of the map is going to be selected by the previous map loser. So we have no idea what we are going to have available to us, where these teams are going to take us. We've got a decent idea, though.
I think Prophet will go Tracer here, and this is obviously a map that you want to unlock Alpha Yi on towards that Echo that's been so good from so far. Probably your second best hero after the Genji. And so, look, they didn't play that much Genji in their previous matchup. Hangzhou's like, we're going to bring out, the Echo. We're going to bring out the Echo once again, see how Fitz and the rest of Seoul can handle this.
Well, right here onto the high ground, Bubble comes in just in time for Bernard. Absorb some of that damage being output onto Alpha Yi so they can keep him in the skies. Of course, they will have a res available, but dang, there you go. Smurf going to get taken down first and foremost. The sticky bombs will claim the Winston. Alpha Yi drawing first blood here for his squad as Hangzhou occupy the point. Look to get the first cap. Prophet going to be contesting now for the moment. Tucks into the corner, just trying to bring line of sight as best as possible. Mayhem going to be making his exit there as the cap will eventually come through. Hangzhou now in control. Fitz on the run, but beamed down by Alpha Yi. Does cost them super rich, so now don't have a res, don't have that pocket healing coming through, but I don't think Alpha Yi is too concerned about it. He's still getting up in their faces, still putting down these sticky bombs, but there are casualties on the opposite side as they lose a couple. Near sleep there to the pit. They can't quite knock him down inside of it, but Creative will get the kill, and it looks like Dynasty going to be looking for a quick flip.
Yeah, they'll get that flip indeed. 21% only for the Hangzhou Spark. It's reasonable with Alpha Yi down. No more contest to come on through. Ultimates haven't actually been claimed just yet. It seems like Creative will be the first one to land on top of the Nano before anyone else can get theirs up. Shy, obviously, I mean, we can talk about the fact that he still is on towards this Ashe. He's probably been the one player that has played the most Ashe so far in APAC and probably the world at this stage as far as the Overwatch League goes. Another opening kill from Alpha, but it is traded.
Fitz. Okay. Maybe a Helix Rocket kill on himself. Hard to say. Either way, Fitz now going to be out of the fight. It's 2 here for the side of the Spark as Creative gets jumped on. And he is not allowed to grab that mini pack. Alpha cuts him down a size just in time with the beam to get that elimination. Now he's looking for Smurf, and he will have it. Alpha is just dominating the server. So while the Dynasty, yeah, they got control, they got in the lead. Hangzhou Spark retake it as the Dynasty get the 35%.
And that's just been the goal of the Hangzhou Spark, right? I mean, unlock the Echo, put Alpha on this pick on a particular map where the Echo is going to shine. It's not all about the Genji for this guy. He's got the duplicate available here as well. We talked about the fact that Creative might have been able to get the Nano first, but that's been matched now the other end by Irony. Plentiful Nano targets to play through as well. As we're definitely looking at the Hangzhou Spark leading by what will soon be a fair margin. Nano Visor Fitz.
Propping around the back, he's trying to get in on top of Irony, puts a decent amount of damage out, but Fitz in the meantime, he pops attack visor, breaks Alpha out of the dupe, gets the kill. Helix Rockets finished off Shy. Now it's just looking for another one, but Prophet says, no, I want to get involved as well. Takes that kill away. That's going to be a team wipe, and, well, the lead is not going to be nearly as dangerous for the Dynasty as we might have previously thought. They win that off the back of the visor and the Nano. Now they're back in control and getting ready to retake.
I mean, that was so fast that I barely even saw what Alpha copied, and later on, Irony didn't even get the chance to put the Nano onto Alpha. So that fight ends as soon as it begins, and as soon as we have a bit of a lead for the Hangzhou Spark and they cap, that's flipped over straight away. We still have this pulse bomb. We were following Prophet a little bit earlier. Thought he would open up the plate. He still can this time around.
Yeah, the double dive coming through. Shy still going to end up falling. Rez is available. He's trying to lob it in that pulse bomb. Not going to be able to get the stick. Not going to be able to get the kills. So it is going to be the Ashe back into the fight. In the meantime, Fitz is going to be taken down. Bob going to be thrown out onto the point. Going to be dealt with there by Creative. You would expect as Smurf goes into the back lines. Now is going to be grabbed up. The sound barrier comes through from Vindheim as 3 people are locked into the Graviton Surge. Leaping into the air. He's going to be slept there for a moment, but Smurf wakes back up and ends up getting killed by Alpha Yi. The point is back in control here on the side of the Hangzhou Spark now, taking the lead. They have to wait for this reset here. Dynasty have to come back in as a 5-man unit, and there's no ults to speak of.
Shy's going to come back as a soldier as well. Just the run back speed is really important here. What could be potentially the final fight here. Not a lot of ultimates coming online. We're waiting for Nano from Creative again. Alpha looking towards a duplicate. Hopefully this one will last a little bit longer. 90% secured now for the Hangzhou Spark.
Bomb's not going to get a hit. As we get up to 99, Superrich taking a bit of damage to dive up a little bit further. Bernard forced to put some bubbles out to try to keep that Mercy alive. Still continues to take quite a bit of damage. Irony going to be focus firing him. Beam not going to be able to hit Creative. He cancels it, pulls back around the corner. Dynasty now need to play in, get this flip, and then try to hold it for 30 more %. Alpha Yi, the dupe, going to be online. See where he wants to go this time around, but now Bernard going to fall. So maybe the window of opportunity is gone, and it seems like it has gone ahead and vanished away from the side of the Spark. We'll just have to go for a reset. They've only got 30% to do it, so everybody dying now, coming back in as Dynasty gain control.
And brilliant that Fitz didn't end up using the visor either. You can see that he was maybe waiting for an opportunity to put the visor in. The Nano comes in a little bit earlier to allow Fitz to even build that one up. But as the fight proceeds, he's thinking, okay, we got the damage, got the kills there as well. The Nano was enough. Creative was spending a lot of that fight on half HP. Hangzhou Spark definitely had their target in their sights. They wanted Creative down, but he was too elusive. They couldn't get him. Fitz pops the visor now.
Shy's dead. Prophet on the lurk. Comes up huge now. He's got the pulse bomb stick. Goes out. Looks like the bubble's going to be able to absorb it there from Bernard, but he's still going to be down to about half HP. Fitz popped the visor. Managed to find Irony. Now Bernard going to be finished off. It seems like the rug might have been pulled out from underneath the Spark here. Alpha will find one more parting kill before he goes down to Vindheim. And just like that, the Dynasty will be able to secure it. Well is theirs, 199%.
And you have to rewind a little bit what happened in that fight when Alpha had the duplicate. Still does have it, by the way. We'll be saving it for our next round on Ilios here. Doesn't end up using it on any targets. Creative pops the Nano on towards Fitz. He will get kills just with the bare Nano. No visor attached to it at all. And Hangzhou Spark, no responses. They lose a couple players. They could have been the ones to pull the trigger early. I know Bernard was, Alfie was waiting for the duplicate to come online, but the timing wasn't that far off. He was maybe only a couple % behind Creative anyway. Creative had enough of a window where, I mean, he pops Nano in, and still no response. So this should be the Nano Visor play. Ended up being and a copy for Alpha Yi. And I believe as well, if I noticed correctly, Irony only just got the Nano as Alpha Yi died. So a couple of things going weird there, and not my favorite copy target coming through from Alpha Yi either.
Well, Alfie, you're going to be moving away from the Echo now that we set our sights on Lighthouse. Goes to the Genji that has been delivering fantastic results for him the whole season throughout. See how he fares now. Prophet just going to be sticking on the Tracer, not looking to match him here, it would seem. He's not for the moment. As he contests the high ground, sees Fitz dropping down, but that's going to be Super Rich dropping as well. The elimination comes through, and that's first blood this time for the side of the Dynasty, and maybe even the first cap as well, as Alpha Yi is caught out, nowhere to go, no dash, no deflect. Ends up falling. Bernard as well. Looking like he, in all likelihood, will be reset here as he does get dropped. So any energy that he did have built up is now going to be taken away.
You know, it's bad for the Hangzhou Sparks when they are both first-blooded in terms of somebody dying on their team, but then also they fail to sort of get a trade, and they usually Alpha Yi would be the person getting that trade, but taken down by Fitz as well, and now a swap to come on through Alpha Yi on the Tracer, burn up for a Diva, and unfortunately, this is kind of what happens when you have an off-tank player on this type of map. We've seen Burnout play the Diva here. We've seen actually a lot of teams play the Diva here. I don't think it's the primary choice. I think it's just because, look, you're playing an off-tank. This person doesn't really play the Winston. Diva ends up being the option.
Oh, and Alpha Yi, I mean, fresh off the swap to the Tracer, it's only going to be sent back into the respawn room. Creative and the rest of the squad just focus firing, finding that elimination. Now Prophet going to be diving in, pops the recall, gets himself out to safety. A shot going to be clipped by that bio nade. Pulse bomb still held for now. See if Prophet can come up with a stick. He's going to lob it into the side room. Not going to find anything though. Super Rich just stuck in the corner, holding that shield up, keeps himself protected.
55 and counting. Nothing to respond through from the Spark just yet. At least the Nano has been shut down onto Smurfs. That's something that goes the way of the Spark. They need kills, oh man. They are just lacking in these frags. They have the Nano available themselves as well. And finally they'll get one back.
I mean, Fitz hasn't used his tac visor, otherwise he might be lapping shy right now. Now Bernard having swapped over to the Diva, like you mentioned, ends up getting broken out of that. Fitz finds the elimination onto the baby Diva. Smurf again going to be taking a nap, now is woken up here in the sauna. Leaps back over to safety with the rest of the team. Point being contested for now by Alpha Yi. Super Rich as well joining in the fray. They need to get this flip right here, right now. Tac visor rolling from Fitz, looking for an angle, flanks around the side, tries to get a better shot through onto that enemy Tracer. Cannot do so. Point flip will come in. 88% though established for the side of the Dynasty, and they can afford to go for a couple eco pushes here, Avril.
The thing is as well, when you're playing this Diva, and by the way, Bernard's nailing onto the Diva bomb, you do need to be shutting down Fitz quite a lot. I mean, that's part of Diva's kit, right? You go back to Overwatch 1, Vice don't have a lot of value versus Diva. Rally being popped by Vindane this time around, expecting Super Rich to respond.
The stick goes out, but it connects on the Prophet. He uses the recall, now comes right back out, now finds Super Rich, and that's going to be the rally. Not able to be used in the fight. They do have that self-destruct should Bernard need it to try to clear the point. He's actually going to go ahead and toss it out. We'll see if he gets any kills, and he is going to get massive value. Somehow gets Fitz and Creative. The Hana, I can understand, but Fitz, you've got legs, you can sprint. Somehow gets caught by the explosion, and that saves Hangzhou Spark a bit. Prophet still shoving people back. The contest is there. They force out the overtime, but now Bernard is going to be taken out of the mech. Prophet taken down. That's going to be a 2-for-1 though, so the Hangzhou Spark, it looks like they should be able to hold this.
So that's kind of what happens, right, when you're playing Overwatch 2 and people forget about how to play against Diva because she doesn't get played ever, and it's like, oh, that's right, she does do this kind of self-destructing kind of thing that happens. Also got a second ultimate as well, by the way, if Bernard wants to crush somebody. But miraculous fight win. Won't exactly see how that explosion caught two players. Like you said, Fitz probably the one that shouldn't have been caught there, but two players on point, two players down. And an opportunity now for Hangzhou Spark to turn this one around. Otherwise, we are taking first map for Seoul in this best of 5. That rally's still available as Smurf gets the Nano.
Yep, Super Rich pops in, dive in. Smurf still holding onto the Primal, so he's not in danger of dying here. Just going to be zapping away at them. Leaps up over onto the high ground for just a moment. Now has both of those supports contained. He's just trying to keep them gated away from their players so they can find some picks elsewhere. Bernard has fallen quite low. Nano now going to be used. That goes out on the Shy. He's going to be slept. He's going to be anti. He's going to be left on the ground. Damage comes through. The focus fire is great from the side of the Dynasty. They find the elimination. Now OT is going to start bleeding away. Pulse bump from Alpha Yi, not finding anything, but Prophet comes up big, gets Irony. I think he gives his life for it. I don't know if the Hangzhou Spark is going to be able to play off the back of that one, but yeah, Alpha Yi, I don't know, maybe he thought he had recall, dashed off the side of the map for a second, I'm not sure. Either way, all I know is the Dynasty are closing out the map. 199 the first time, 167 here on Lighthouse. Dynasty will take Ilios 2-0.
And that 67 only comes through because the double self-destruct killed as well, and have to really highlight the final play that we saw there from Smurf on the Primal Rage. He locks up both supports, and neither of those supports could do anything that entire fight. You look at Bernard's HP, nothing. He's got nothing to work with. He has to run for a health pack, maybe. the point goes away because those players, the rest of the DPSs plus Burner, cannot contest the point at all. The flip comes through, and that puts mad pressure on the Hangzhou Spark. Their support's already in trouble. That fight ends up being scuffed, and the map's over. That's going to be a solid 2-0 score line to start things out on Ilios and Seoul, looking extremely comfortable up against the Genji, the Tracer, the Echo. Nothing Alpha Yi's bringing out today so far has been working versus Seoul.
Yeah, just not finding too much purchase, but now the Hangzhou Spark, they will have a map pick yet again, as we do believe the Ilios selection was theirs. And if it was, that's a bit more concerning. But now, they certainly have their pick of Hybrid. It looks like Midtown is going to be coming up next, so we'll see how they fare in that map, see whether or not they can tie up the series for Hybrid when we come back from the break. So don't go anywhere, guys. The action continues in just a few. And we are back. Seoul Dynasty kicking things off quite nicely here in this lower bracket match here in the kickoff clash. 1-0 to start things off now as we get ready to go into Midtown. Ilios, they just look dominant. It seems like the Hangzhou Spark not really functioning on the same page in that first map there, Avril.
No, and I don't think we got to the good parts for Bernard either. If you're the Hangzhou Spark, you likely don't want to have to rely on I think it is Lighthouse to win. You want to be going to Ruins and Well. Yeah. Those are the two parts that you can actually bring the Zarya out and get some good value. When you have to play the Div on the Lighthouse, doesn't feel good. You know, we had some good plays from Alpha Yi on the Echo early on, but that seemed to die down pretty quickly when Fitz came online. Once he started receiving nanos and using visors, Alpha Yi went to the wayside. Not impressed with the Alpha Yi Tracer today either. It's the Spark camp and the entire thing not really coming together on Ilios the way we expected. But we are going to Midtown, a map that they picked yesterday versus the Fusion. And look, I'll be honest, they did win that one. It was convincing, but part of me does question, was it convincing because Fusion ran a Ryan comp that didn't look exactly well prepared, or was it because Spark are just insane on this map? And we also did see the Alpha Yi Torbjorn. Does that come out today as well? Part of me thinks it might because we are expecting Kickoff to play the Tracer. He did, but also he's playing against a Ryan comp. Do you know what I mean? I can't. It's hard to know whether they Hangzhou Spark as a whole pounded because of Fusion's choice of composition or something else. We'll find out. But yeah, the Torber's going to make a comeback here. And again, I think it's actually reasonable versus Soul's comp purely because Profit on the Tracer. It's going to be really annoying for a Tracer to play against.
Yeah, I think it's also really just good for this point A, kind of in particular. You know, just cut off one of those flank angles. You know, whether it's going to be situated up here on the steps. You know, make sure that nobody can come out through the train car. If it's off to the the bottom right side from the defender's perspective, you can just kind of lock off that position, and then you know whether somebody's coming on that approach, and you really cut down on the sneaky plays because. We saw it there on Ilios. Profit doing a lot of lurking, particularly on Well, finding some high value there in the end, but looks like it's not going to be the Tracer for now. Maybe they have a read on this, and he's just going to go for the Reaper guy.
I don't think that'll stick. Or maybe. Smurf's gone towards the Zarya. This is the thing about the Seoul Dynasty as well. If they paid attention to the games yesterday, which I expected they would have, they probably have some sort of read on what they expect the Hangzhou Spark to be bringing out. So without even doing too much scouting, you'd probably think, okay, there is going to be a Torb. Confirmed now for sure. Even slept.
Yeah, they try to get on top of him, but does get woken up there. Can't find the elimination. So for now, he's going to be okay. Gets a dink onto Fitz, though. Takes him down low HP as he just stays sat here on the windowsill. Then we'll go ahead and drop back down to safety. Smurf and Creative in the meantime, just trying to push through main.
I'll tell you what. Okay, he does get a kill here. It is traded out, but I was going to say as well, despite not even playing this kind of Torb, it's actually pretty even. Puffin might be able to save this one still. Smurf's got the kills as well.
I mean, it's just Alpha Yi filling the kill feed here for his squad. Just get pressured out quite a bit, though, and Smurf will manage to take him down as well as the turret there. In one fell swoop now, the point going to be broken open. Smurf just carrying everybody forward as the cap starts to come in. There certainly will get at least, you'd say 1.5 ticks.
No change for Alpha Yi.
No, he's sticking through with it. He says, well, I'm halfway to the molten core. I might as well try to use it.
Can they touch in time? I mean, Bernard's right around the corner. It seems like they want to go for this one. Is it going to have to end up being shy, maybe? No one can go for it.
Okay, I mean, a little bit odd there. It's like maybe some split shot calling coming through from the side of the Hangzhou Spark. Somebody saying, we need to go. Somebody else saying, no, it's too late. Hard to say either way. I mean, it's just a massive time bank now for the side of the Dynasty. Nearly 5 minutes in the time bank.
Here's why I expected Alpha Yi to change to the Reaper, because the smart thing about what Seoul are doing is they recognize the Torb on the battlefield. They say, if we play the Zarya Reaper version, it should be on paper just stronger than the Torb Zarya version, because, I mean, the Torb and the Reaper kind of do the same job, but the Reaper is just far more flexible.
That it is. Well, for now, Profit just building up. 31% to go towards that Death Blossom. Smurf holding onto the grab. Obviously, the outpacing is there. They're just going to go ahead, throw the solar grab out of the Bernard. It's going to force the nano, but Bionade connects. That seems like Bernard doesn't have any more bubbles to try to keep himself protected, to cleanse off that anti-healing, and then Profit is able to get right on top of him. Tears two apart now. He's looking for Alpha Yi. The turn will be cleared. Profit, go ahead and just teleport forward, looking for a little bit more, and there's nothing for Irony to do but die. Cart will continue to push here. Only about a minute now gone off the time bank, and they're making good pace.
I appreciated that Super Rich actually came in to try and body block there with the Brigida shield so that they could save Bernard's life, waiting for the next bubble cooldown to arrive. They really need that grab there because we're waiting for the grab into Molten Core combo. My only other issue with that is you're probably going to end up just getting a solo grab onto Smurf. If you're lucky, you'll get Profit as well. That combo basically needs to happen now, though. Shy opens up first.
Yep, Fitz matching. Takes quite a bit of damage. Shy has to pull back, but Shy in the end will manage to find Vinheim. High priority target. Now Prophet going to be eliminated. That's the lion's share of the damage, given what we've seen from Vinheim just yesterday. Now taken away. The rest of the team from the Dynasty going to have to pull away. And this is a decent position for the cart for, the side of the Spark to try to buy some time.
He's changing.
Just wait and see what happens. And yeah,
Thank
now
God.
he's going to swap.
I was going to say, man,
I'll swap after all.
The worst part about Alpha E dying, like, the fighter go is the fact that, oh no, he's actually got the Molten Core, so now he can't swap because he has to come out and play the Molten Core for the defense. It actually does work out. I don't know how much the Molten Core actually helps him, considering I think it was the Visor that really opened things up for the Hangzhou Spark. But now we're going to get more Genji, so this is a little bit more standard for the Hangzhou Spark, a little bit more standard for Alpha Yi as well. And they have the grab to play through as they have the high ground currently, which will be very helpful for the rest of this defense.
Alright, now Cart rolling back just a bit. Yep, starting to making his way down the hill here as 3 ults available. That's going to be the grab going out from Bernard. Nano forced here for creative on a Prophet to keep him alive in the fight. He's going to drop down straight in on top of Bernard's face, trying to pressure him out, but the Nano is there to try to keep Bernard alive. Let's make a quick little nap here behind the cart for the time being, as Smurf already nearly has another Graviton Surge ready to go, just 18% away. Death Blossom into the back, but boop him over towards Bernard. Yeah, they create some distance there. Bernard having a lot more survivability. It makes sense that they push him back that way, but the right click from Bernard in the end, he fell too low. Ends up taking his own life. They will find Prophet, though. The Helix Rocket's flying through, getting that elimination. Now Alpha E and Shy both going to be out of the fight at the cost of Vinheim. Now creative. It's just Fitz and Smurfless to try to contest this. I can talk. It's my job. This Fitz will find a kill. Finds another one. The support's now going to be gone. The cart advancing forward. Someone's got to touch. It's going to be Bernard here in the end, but the attack visor is going to be popped from Fitz. Plays down into the low ground. It's inching forward, waiting for his cooldowns, waiting for the Helix Rocket, waiting for that bio field. He gets Shy in the end. The cart now 0.05 left to go. Will crest its way over point B. That's the cap. That is 3 minutes now in the time bank as we go into Grand Central.
And that was nearly a forced Visor coming through as well. You see that Fitz had to use a Visor towards the end there, but because it was matched by Shy, Fitz is bailed out in that play, so it ends up being an even ultimate trade. You don't even see an economic advantage come through for Hangzhou Spark on that final defense. We do get the Alpha Yi Dragon Blade coming through for the next fight, but they won't be able to defend B at all. Credit for Super Rich to, I guess, do his best. He got 2 final blows in there. Tried to boop away that Death Blossom. Unfortunately, Bernard ended up walking into it anyway. I think that first death onto Bernard via the Death Blossom is really what kind of broke the camel's back for that defense for the Hangzhou Spark. 2 minutes and 20 roughly remaining here. Still enough time, I would say, for Seoul Dynasty to get meaningful distance, maybe even a cap. But as the ultimates come online for the Hangzhou Spark, we are expecting a big reset here on the Seoul Dynasty.
Yeah. Smurf, I mean, he's already back up to 70%, Avril. He's building these grabs so quickly. Lapping Bernard right now as he tries to get this next one available. Just 5% left to go. Nano there to try to keep everybody alive. The grab does come through from Smurf.
He's nearly double average energy of Bernard, by the way, as well. So he really is in terms of damage output, energy management, all that, outperforming.
Okay, Nano on to Alpha. He pulls the blade, but everybody just runs away. And he's not going to find too much value. Nano was used on the Fitz to keep him alive. But they just pull back around the corner and they say, okay, we got 2 ultimates. We used one of our own. That's fine. Now the grab goes in. Catches Super Rich. They're looking to break down this Brikita. As the rally now will come through as the grab expires. Anti goes out on the 2 Shy with the Helix Rockets. We'll find Prophet off screen. Wait out the rally here just a bit as picks will come through from the side of the Spark. Does give them a bit of stability, and Vinheim cannot escape. Smurf just trying to pull back, but Shy is getting up close and personal.
Good cleanup.
And will be able to find the final kills. So nice little team wipe there, an extended one, as the cart will be held in place, and there's just 1 minute and 5 seconds left to go for the Dynasty.
And that, by the way, is Smurf's 2nd death so far this entire attack. That's why he's been able to get so much higher average energy than Burner. It's only a 2nd death, right? That's going to help Burner out a lot in terms of getting his own energy up, resetting Smurf. Super important there. I did say this was going to end up being a big reset for the Seoul Dynasty. Had to see a big ultimate exchange to get there, though, and a very, I would say, patient and late rally coming through from Super Rich. A little bit risky. I mean, players could have died in the time that he waited. Pops the rally anyway towards the end. It ends up being enough. Now swapping over towards the Lucio finally. It's Visor versus Visor. The Prophet might make the difference with the Blossom.
Irony building up towards that Nano pretty rapidly here. Creative not that far behind him. We'll see what happens. So Shy with his Visor will find Vinheim. Prophet goes in with the Death Blossom. However, he's right on top of everybody. Finds Irony, finds Alpha E, and Super Rich falls as well. That is the DPS now taken out of the equation. Bernard, the last man standing, will die. The team kill comes through with 10 seconds to spare. They round the final corner and just need to glide this cart a little bit more. 10 meters or so away now. As the contest needs to come through. Alpha E gonna dash in. He's the first one to touch the blade. Not too far off. The Nano's gonna go through onto the Genji. Shy finds an opening pick. Vinheim gonna be taken down. Nano's on the Prophet. Needs to do some significant damage, but so far has not been able to do too much of anything. The Doofus is there. He keeps himself protected. Now the blade is gonna be pulled. Looks for Smurf. Can't find too much there. Smurf now gonna be running away. And it seems like he's content to say, you know what? I've only died twice. I'm gonna try to stay alive. Does die at the very end, but they say our job here is done. That's as good as it gets.
God.
They cannot complete the map, and that does give the Hangzhou Spark a win condition on their map pick of Midtown.
Smurf confirmed KDA player right there, looking for the scoreline. Yeah, they were definitely looking on like they were on their way out. It was a 2-for-0 trade where Shy got both Vinheim and Fitz or something like that. He got 2 players down, right? 3 versus 5, not looking great. Alpha, he pulls the blade. And a final swap from Burner on the Zarya to the Doomfist to be able to contest in time. Nano versus Nano, but the Nano onto Prophet ends up not buying them enough damage at all. He needs the Blossom, but we talked about the fact that the Blossom would have made the difference in the previous fight. It did. That got them the majority of the payload distance, 93.43. It's pretty good considering, what was it, like, not quite OT, capping B, but about a minute left capping B, so the 2 minutes 30 overall, roughly, going into C. I think this is acceptable distance for them, considering that A was a bit of a wash as well, and B ended up being more than a struggle than what Seoul had bargained for. Really, as soon as you kind of get off that torb and things start to look a little bit better. But I again have to credit the Seoul Dynasty for reading the play correctly. They had seen that Hangzhou Spark had played torb here last night, and they're thinking, okay, we can just match them, we can play the Zarya, but we can just play the better here than the torb. It's called Reaper, and things should be going well. Now when we look towards the opposite side of things on this defense, standard Seoul Dynasty dive, Smurf Prophet diving together. Hangzhou Spark going to punish that by putting Alpha E on the Reaper to start things out.
Alright, Bionade line up. Gets a hit on the 3. Nice little bump of percentage there for Creative.
And then Irony catches up straight away because he heals it off.
Yep, I mean, it's always that balance of, you know, how should we be poking and prodding constantly because we do want to build up our own ultimates, but we're also feeding ult charge over to the supports. Where is the balance there? Can be difficult to find, but Creative has since taken the lead yet again, now up by about 13%. TP across from Alpha Yi, gets himself right on top of Smurf, forces Elite back over. For now, Dynasty playing this decently at range, but they're going to have to come to the point here pretty shortly. Teleport out, Alpha Yi just cutting away from the Winston, but Prophet got in the back line somehow and got on top of Shy. Finds that elimination, fits under a bit of fire, pulls away, has the pocket healing there of Creative to keep him topped up. Smurf somewhere does get slept, does get antied, and Irony will find the elimination, but Alpha E and Bernard have fallen in the meantime. So while the supports were busy dealing with the main tank of Dynasty, they lose 2 players.
They do get a tech though, so you know I'm trying to figure out whether that play ends up being worth, and if you get, I guess, objective progress, it ends up being pretty worth. Yeah. So that'll be a green check mark for me apparently, but not entirely pleased with it. I think the smarter play or the more clean play for Hangzhou Spark is to clear areas out first, look for flights onto players like Smurf, push him out of specific locations. Super Rich will probably die here. Okay, he doesn't. Just outplays Prophet, maybe?
Yeah, Prophet just taking so much damage there on the flank from Shy, who's just sat directly next to him. You barely have to aim at that point, just point-blank firing. And then Super Rich just fires off a left click, gets the elimination. Nicely done there. Now Finn's going to be taken out of the equation as well, as it looks like the Hangzhou Spark may have finally broken through. That's going to be the second tick getting snatched up here by them. And nobody playing the point. Prophet just now re-arriving. Will be able to contest this and try to buy some time for the rest of the squad. Nano's going to come out. Smurf dives on in and now has the Primal ready to go, but he likely can save it because Bernard's been taken out of the fight as well. Probably doesn't have to use it to get up to 88.5%.
And he's sleeping now as well. I mean, he had the Nano, but it didn't come up in time to save Bernard. Prophet the 3K on the Pulse Bomb. It's exactly what you expect. We saw the Prophet 2Ks before. Prophet has been insane on this Midtown defense on the Tracer. To be honest with you, though, that is almost a bailout for the Hangzhou Spark. They knew the fight was over with Bernard gone. Yeah. You're not expecting too much further. If I only had the Nano boost slightly earlier, they would have Nano Bernard to keep it alive versus Smurf. Because they all died of the Pulse Bomb, they feed less ultimates, and they get a clean reset. So, great from Prophet, but also for Hangzhou Spark. I think they just wanted to lose that fight anyway.
Yeah, it was pretty much done-so there, it would seem. Shy just tucking into the corner, making sure that he's going to be safe through the duration of that anti, but now down to 1 minute and 15 seconds. Ults abound here for the side of the Spark, but can they utilize them and find success? That is the question. Smurf just going back up into the fire station as Prophet dashing and ducking around the backside is not prepared for Shy to push the staircase. He absolutely shuts him down. A couple shots, a melee hit, and the Helix Rockets. That is goodbye, good night to the Tracer. Now Fitz as well getting picked off. No DPS here on the side of the Dynasty, and Smurf just gets picked off without using the Primal Rage.
No, he can't win the fight off the Primal, unfortunately. It's just him and I believe 1 or 2 supports remaining. They could throw everything at it. You know, they could Primal, they could Sound Bear, but they don't have ultimates for the rest of the contest that will happen now towards B. You have to look at the Hangzhou Spark as well. I think the only maybe argument to make for Smurf going Primal is, can you force additional ultimates out of the Hangzhou Spark? But if Hangzhou Spark know their numbers well enough, they would probably say, we're not going to play an extra ultimate unless Prophet and Fitz can come back. Speaking of Prophet,
got a corner check here. Dashes away, trying to avoid this sleep dart, but again, Prophet goes on these little lurks, and Shy shuts him down time and time again. Prophet not getting too much ult charge off that either. Now it's just back into the respawn room, but we're damn near 5 ults on either side,
Tell you
Apple.
what, that's a rifle player versus a lurking pistol player, you know what I'm saying? So that does go the way of Shy a couple times in a row now, as the payload just keeps on going through this underpass. Still haven't spent any ultimates, so Hangzhou Spark got A for free, no ultimate spent. Well, it cost them a bit of time, a lot of time, but no ultimate spent, which means they're snowballing quite heavily. On the other end, Solar also having a lot of ultimates, but they need to be the ones spending. It's up to them.
Okay, well, it's going to be the Nano Visor. Sound Barrier out from Super Rich. Vinheim matching on the back end of that. It's just a bloody mess in the side room. Sleep connects there on the Fitz. They don't wake him up until the very end, until after the Nano has expired. They get the kill, they get creative, they get Profit. They're getting damn near everything. Alpha Yi doesn't have to even use the Death Blossom port, so they still carry an ult forward. They still maintain ult economic dominance here. Do this out of the Hangzhou Spark, and that car is going to continue to cruise forward.
That's what 9 ultimates spent in that previous fight. A lot of this comes down to the fact that Prophet has been caught out first twice now, and twice by Shy. He's trying to go for plays, and typically, okay, he has made some good plays in the past. However, it's leaving Soul in 4v5s if Prophet can't make the play happen and also cannot escape. And then Soul can't make these ultimate fights, so they end up having to commit ultimates when the payload is, at this point, nearly capped out. So if you're Soul, you would love to have committed ultimates way earlier. Alpha is going to go for the Death Blossom, but he's moved away.
Yep, gets moved away, gets killed off before he can try to escape with a Wraith Walk. Ends up going down, but now the cart contest has to come through. It's 1.5 meters to go here for the Spark to get that 1.5 minutes bump up into the time bank, and then make an attempt at the map win to tie it up. Pushed up into the air, there is Bernard, manages to survive. Prophet walking back over, gets behind the cart, just looking for some targets, sending out some stray shots. Next ult to come up here for the side of the Dynasty. It looks like it's going to be the Nano Boost, but Irony's not that far behind, and Super Rich is trying to catch up to Vinheim, so support ults going to be coming through here before the timer hits 0.
That is an important, I think, ultimate reset for both sides. The fact that you just boot Alpha your way, he gets no value. The Death Blossom massive. Prophet goes in, so this time Prophet's the one getting the first kill instead of dying.
I don't know if he walked up there, if he just TP'd in their face. Either way, Prophet gets the kill on the Shy right as Attack Visor becomes available. Now with 25 seconds left. Nano Visor grabbed nearly there. The Sound Barrier about to be up for both of these Lucios. It's going to be a fairly even fight.
Helps Fitz catch up. That one reset really helps Fitz get the Visor here instead of Shy just having it on his own.
TP into the back. The Boop is there. Vinheim keeping himself at arm's length away from Alpha Yi. Prophet goes into the Wraith Walk form as the Nano comes out on him to just help him stay alive. Wraps around the side. He's trying to get on top of Shy, trying to break down this Attack Visor. He's taking him low. They get the kill. Now is in the grab. Goes into the Wraith Walk form. The Sound Barrier is out from both of the teams. Shield's lasting a little bit longer on the side of the Hangzhou Spark. Prophet going to be eliminated as Super Rich finds the kill. But are charging forward, contesting the cart, the TP in from Alpha Yi, but he's only got a sliver of HP. No one's looking at him, though. Now they finally turn their sights over onto the enemy Reaper, and Fitz manages to gun him down. He himself is falling low there. Bernard now going to be grabbed off of the cart, and that is going to do it. They cannot re-arrive. Shy cannot sprint fast enough to continue the contest, and the Dynasty will hold at point B and now move up to 0.
You can see the long flank coming from Fitz as well, going all the way back onto the high ground above the underpass there as well. I was staring at his ultimate charge. It was standing at 99% for the longest time, but once he gets onto the high ground, hits one shot, commits that visor, and it's enough to get the win. Smurf's grab will lock Burner off as well, like you sort of mentioned there, and have to rewind a little bit further back. 2 really important plays happen there. One, pooping away the Death Blossom from Alpha Yi, resetting the ult economy for both teams, and then also the solo kill from Prophet, going to the high ground, possibly was a teleport, getting that one kill and to believe it was Shy or whoever it was, enabling the 5v4, pushing Hangzhou Spark back, and that's how Fitz can have the time to build the visor. If that doesn't happen, Fitz could be in a worse position.
Well, they made it look like they were going to be able to get that B cap, keep pushing through. I mean, it was a good pace at the beginning there from the side of the Spark, but unfortunately for them, the Dynasty just drained the clock down and then outdueled them at the very end when things were decently evenly matched. They get the victory. They take it now to match point. Hangzhou Spark need the reverse sweep if they want to stay in the kickoff clash. Otherwise, their tournament run could come to an end rather quickly. We'll see if they can get it done at the next map pick, I believe, being Escort. We'll see what they select. We'll see if they can get the win. See if they can extend this series when we come back from the break.
Thought of you.
Tracer is back on the menu. Prophet with another.
That's wild! How does he get that kill?
I don't know.
Three more Make it 4.
Wow,
Profit.
4. The stage is set for Profit.
Profit, who's managed to pull out the duplicate.
Profit finds 3.
Profit strikes back just a little bit harder.
Another stick.
But Profit is on the tracer. Oh, what more can you ask for?
And welcome back, guys. Seoul Dynasty currently very firmly in the lead now, 2-0, and a lot of it, not all of it, obviously, because everybody's been playing pretty damn good on the roster, but a lot of it to do with that man right there in that highlight reel, the absolute goated player in the Overwatch League. Profit has been looking overall pretty good. 3-man, kill on the pulse bomb. I think it's the first one that we've seen in APAC at least. Yeah, some pretty nice plays, but also getting punished on his long little flank plays, on his little camping missions that he's been going off on. But that's good on Shy to be able to get those punishes, but it's not good enough to get the Spark win so far.
Yeah, it's just the those are the expenses that you got to put up against the gross profit before you get your real revenue coming through at the end of the day. So I did enjoy the little pre-roll though. I mean, for those that don't know Profit, I mean that's a great introduction. Yeah, he's been playing since yonders ago. Apex champion, Season 1 champion, Grand Finals MVP, runner-up in 2020 as well. Really, the accolades kind of speak for themselves here. And still, 5 years later, in 2022, a top-level player that has had more than a few MVP-level performances so far this opening stage of the season. So, thanks for Seoul Dynasty looking up and looking great. And kind of felt that way after seeing them versus the Shanghai Dragons, right? Because Shanghai had been a team that have only gotten better as the season has gone on. We know they had a rough start. The fact that Seoul take them close to 5 maps, and Seoul had to really put, Shanghai, both teams had to kind of put everything on the line there, play to their absolute best to bring us that kind of series. One of the best series, maybe I think the actual best series that we've had so far in the APAC division here in Kickoff Clash in 2022. Seoul being at that level speaks to how good they are, and part of me is not surprised that Hangzhou are down 0-2 currently, and it's going to take a miracle for this reverse sweep to happen.
Yep, so far the map picks haven't really been going their way. Now we set our sights on Dorado, which very well could be the last map as Dynasty looks for another little sweep. Fit's going to be moving forward off the rip. Okay, a little bit of
what kind of sweep?
Botch with the grapple, but it's okay, it's okay. And out behind the shield. And we'll see. Okay, there's no defending Widowmaker, so I'll just swap over to the Soldier 76 and we'll just match.
I think the Widowmaker would have been huge, actually, because no defending Widowmaker. Fitz will have a lot to play through, but he'll take the safe pick instead. It's a dive coming through from the side of the Hangzhou Spark, but again, because they don't have a Winston player currently on, CoStream hasn't played a single map so far in this series. It's Burner the entire way through. It'll be the Diva once more. As Seoul Dynasty have now somewhat securely taken the high ground. They just need to have a little bit more payload distance to make up for it.
Well, there was just a little minor sleep there on a Benar, instantly got woken up, so he's back to playing up front here. As Bionade clips Fitz around the corner, he'll drop down, move into the Mega Pack room. Wait that out, and then look for another target here. Shy for the time being. Is outputting a ton of damage. Already nearly at 60% compared to Fitz's 30, so it's basically doubling him at the moment. So attack visor for the defending soldier going to be looking pretty good. Profit trying to keep pace here with Alpha Yi as well.
Tell you what, though, I mean, Shy's had a lot more opportunity just to free shoot players like Smurf. Fitz has spent more time rotating than actually shooting, so that definitely contributes to why he's so far behind. But this is a decent angle now on this archway. Here we go, the dive now potentially coming through from Smurf as well. I think just to take some ground. I say dive, it's actually Burner flying away and Sol just slow pushing themselves.
Well, Alpha Yi nearly with the pulse bomb as Profit goes on one of those little excursions around the flank. Does get spotted, whip shot comes through. Alpha Yi falling low, pops the recall. Pulse bomb at the ready. Does he find a target here or does he decide to save it? Doesn't have any exit strategy now as Profit jumps in behind him. Offering up a bit of damage. Pulse bomb out from Profit. Not going to manage to find anything though. Now answering pulse bomb from Alpha Yi. Takes out Bits. That's going to be the damage cut down more than half. As Smurf will end up dying here. The nano boost used onto Shy to really just mow through everybody. They'll get creative as they try to make their way out to safety, but Cart going to be halted. Half the time, Bank bled away. Not too far to go, though, for the finish line, so Dynasty with their own ults can certainly come back in and close this.
And that's the problem, because Hangzhou Spark actually got ultimates first. Irony was well ahead of Creative. Shy, as we noted, well ahead of Fitz, still well ahead of Fitz. They had 4 ultimates coming online for the Hangzhou Spark. Both traces fairly equal there. Hangzhou Spark waited long enough, then an additional 10 to 15 meters were pushed by the Seoul Dynasty, and Prophet got to fire the first pulse. He didn't land it, but he fired the first pulse, and if that had actually killed somebody, would have been a huge difference maker.
Prophet now looking to make up for it as he starts to lap Alpha Yi in that charge. Anti out onto both of the DPS here on the side of the Dynasty, but they will be able to survive. Bernard going to be the focus fire target. Now he's going to let loose with the self-destruct, looking for any kind of kills, but it's not going to be a repeat of Ilios Lighthouse. He doesn't come up with anything this time around. Shy jumped on, unable to use attack visor, ends up getting taken down, and Super Rich is juggled away from his team, so this rally is not finding that much value. The sleep dart will peel for him, and Super Rich gets back into the fight, helping to take down Fitz. Prophet, though, still here, still unleashed. Smurf falling low, needs to tuck inside. He gets right up next to Creative as that healing gets pumped out.
There's no support
for now. Going to be halted. Yeah, no supports. Prophet, just kind of lobbing the pulse bomb there onto the corner. Not going to be able to find a stick. Now Shy, having re-arrived, pops the attack visor, but the bubble widely is blocking things from Smurf, so he's not finding too much value. Pulse bomb on the ground. Creative can't get away from it. It wasn't even a stick. They still managed to find the enemy onto there, but Fitz is here, and he is taking names. Bernard out of the mech. Alpha Yi dead. Irony dead. We'll just go ahead and clean them up one after the other, and that will be the cap here on A. Decent time buying. They drain them down below a minute, but now it's just shy of 3 for Dynasty on the next phase.
You can see the split respawns there, as Fitz will now go towards the Widowmaker for B. Okay, it's understandable. B actually has way better sightlines for an attacking Widowmaker than A. But you actually see the, because Irony and Super Rich died together, the other three are roughly still alive. Well, Shy comes back in, but he's got no healers to work with. So this kind of split spawning between not having supports and then you have supports, but then the other players die. There's no chance for Hangzhou Spark to actually recontest properly because there's just no healing on board whatsoever. So Seoul Dynasty end up pushing that one over the line via Fitz Visor, just pushing all of Hangzhou Spark off. And currently, nothing should really be able to contest Fitz either, so you can play this one quite patiently, push the payload forward. Ultimate's coming up with Primal and the Nano, wait for Fitz to get a headshot.
He's trying for it, but so far hasn't been able to get too much done. Bernard going to be woken up, antied out. Pops the Jets, goes ahead, flies away, gets back up onto the high ground, and some decent pressure is being applied here by Alpha Yi onto Fitz. In the meantime, though, Super Rich has died. Prophet getting himself up into the bank, finds that elimination, now has a pulse bomb at the ready. See if he can get the stick this time around. Last one ended up just being kind of stuck on the wall. He'll get antied out, forced to recall back. Smurf, in the meantime, continuing to play forward, is nanoed up. Leaps back over to the cart to join in with the rest of the squad. Bring it around the final corner. Alpha Yi tucked into the corner. A couple healing packs coming up from Super Rich will get him top back up as he himself is looking for a target with his pulse bomb. There's going to be the stick. There's the kill. Vinhame's going to be out of the fight. That's the rally canceled. Prophet does manage to find Bernard taking him down, but he cannot escape the self-destruction from beyond the grave. The Baby Diva will manage to find an elimination. Fitz up onto the opposite high ground, though. Does manage to find Shy, taking him down. Alpha Yi antied, recalled yet again. Fitz has the body shot to go ahead, get rid of the enemy Tracer. He's worried about somebody approaching from that flank angle, and there it is. It's a wrecking ball from Bernard, trying to get on top of him. He waits out the grapple cooldown, gets himself away with 30 health as the cart gets closer and closer. Irony now going to be dead. Super Rich, the rally not going to be finding too much of anything there whatsoever. Bernard can't do anything to contest this. He's going to come rolling in from behind, but the point has already been taken. Now it's 2 minutes and 15 seconds remaining for the side of the Dynasty as they continue to find some stagger kills.
Unfortunately, there's not enough allies there for Super Rich. He's trying to go for a final contest. Maybe we thought that Burnout would play a little bit closer to him, but you know, he's on the ball. The Wrecking Ball's going to be flying around all over the place, and so it ends up being a solo rally for all intents and purposes. Super Rich dies, and that's the end of that defense there. Seoul Dynasty, off the back of some pretty decent shots coming out from Fitz towards the end of the fight, end up getting that one locked up. For Hangzhou Spark, they found their timing to strike. They saw the nano, they saw ultimates being used by the Seoul Dynasty. They just had to get onto that payload eventually. But a lot of free pushing, I think, from the Seoul Dynasty on towards B. Not a lot of resistance from the Hangzhou Spark at all. And a late swap.
Alpha Yi kind of got baited there. They put some damage down onto Fitz, and I think the call came through for Alpha Yi to dive. He goes into the back, but Smurf was there to protect, and Fitz just manages to finish him off with a little melee hit. Good punish there onto the Tracer as they try to delay him getting that next pulse bomb up. Prophet, in the meantime, holding his own. Fitz
waiting for Visor.
Too much of an angle, but now Bernard going to be falling lower and lower, and there's just nothing to try to keep him alive. There's no nano boost, there's no nothing. Alpha Yi opens things back up just a little bit by taking down Vinhame, and Prophet won't find too much there with the pulse bomb, but maybe he doesn't need it. Just goes back to the pulse pistols, beams down Shy, multiple headshots, taking down the enemy soldier. Wrapping around the back, Alpha Yi trying to get the touch, trying to get the contest, will manage to do so. Healing coming out from Super Rich as Smurf tries to pop the Primal, instantly going to be met with the sleep dart. Takes a nap for the time being, still has 4 seconds or so to go left on this ult though. Just juggling around the Hangzhou Spark members, trying to keep them locked inside of the spawn. The cart, however, has been occupied by Renard. He's going to be keeping that in place as Smurf contesting just a little bit, manages to leap out at the very last second to keep himself alive. Oh.
Last final kill coming through from Burnout as well. They can clean up the rest of the members here with Smurfs being on low HP. That could be decent for the Hangzhou Spark to rebuild. And great plays by Burnout to just stay on the payload like you sort of mentioned there. The rest of the Hangzhou Spark caught in spawn by Smurf. Sleep dart from Irony, critical. If he misses the sleep dart, it could be a cap coming through from Seoul. Final moments here, will be final fight indeed. Last 15 seconds. Meterage on board as well. Barely ultimates available. Alpha E will have the only one on board. And everyone else, slow charge.
Mayhem super rich, going to be close to the rallies. We'll see if they can be a difference maker for either team. Prophet for now moves up, gets the touch. Make sure that he has the touch this time around. He says, you know what, I would play against Dragons yesterday. I know what can happen if you don't make sure that you have that overtime coming through. Super rich going to be dashing away. The ante goes out onto him. Alpha E going to be taking down the pulse bomb. Not able to find anything. Irony trades it back out. Prophet out of the fight, but Fitz finds Shy. That's the DPS go on now for the side of the Hangzhou Spark as the cart continues to move forward. Rally going to be rolling from Mayhem super rich. Pulls the trigger on his as well. Bernard falling low, ante out, runs out of bubbles, manages to get boosted back up though. They top up the Zarya, now the grab is about to be online. Shy swaps over to the Reaper to try to break down this push. Prophet making his way back over the grab, comes through. Smurf going to fall. The anti-nade from Irony is absolutely gorgeous, and it seems like this could very well be the end. Fitz will get one Alpha E out of the fight, but no one can touch back through. Prophet had to recall, and yet again, it's giving me shades of Midtown. The cart is going to be halted just before the finish line.
But if it is shades of Midtown, that means that the Hangzhou Spark are going to barely make it through B, right? That's not a good omen for the Hangzhou Spark at all. Seoul Dynasty, they'll get held up onto, I guess, the end point of C there. That's just the overtime coming in terms of respawning being heavily favored for the Hangzhou Spark. Their reinforcement distance is very short. Burner has the grab to finish things off as well, and Seoul Dynasty cannot push forward, but have to be critical of what happened on B there for the Hangzhou Spark because it was the most passive defense you've ever seen. They had ultimates, but they were constantly picked out. They were constantly in a position to not use ultimates. How long did Seoul pre-push the payload for? Almost the entire way through. You didn't see Hangzhou Spark initiate a fight until the payload was nearly capped on B. You cannot have that on a defense.
Yeah, really playing with the time a bit loosely there is the Hangzhou Spark. Looks like Fitz, again, not going to be opting to go for the Widowmaker right off the rip. If we get over to the second phase of the map, then he'll probably have to go over and match. And Alpha E, well, just going to be the opening shot you would suspect, and then likely swaps over.
It is so strange. Two things, that Hangzhou Spark would actually choose this map to go to Dorado. And then having Bernard here, because if you want to go to Dorado, it would make more sense to have Gooseray in to play the Winston.
I agree.
Because they're going to end up being stuck on the Bernard Diva for far too long. And this passive hero, the dive, not nearly as powerful as just having a Winston jump in, pop down a bubble. Primal, a much more useful ultimate than the self-destruct as well. We saw the difference it made on, I think, both A and B. Ended up being a very passive defense for Hangzhou on A, an extremely passive defense on B as well. And because this is a pseudo-dive team, you need to see Hangzhou Spark active. It's Alpha E also back on towards the Echo. If anything, Burner needs to help out Alpha E as much as possible. Defensive matrix, dive in together, do something.
He's going to swap
Looks
again?
like Alpha E will change. Probably to, I suppose, the Genji.
Nope, it's going to be the Tracer.
It'll be the Tracer. Okay.
Okay. Comes at the gate, finds Prophet. Couple shots into his back. Obviously has a lot of ground to make up for here with these double swaps coming through. Puts him significantly further behind Prophet. Get that kill, allow him to catch up, but Prophet just a little bit too elusive there, it would seem. Alpha E tucking back, doesn't have any blinks, doesn't have any recall, needs to get some heals in. Won't be able to top him back up. As the attention is fairly split, you can see Irony very much profiting from this. He's up to 80%.
Fitz nearly Visor.
Yeah, that's true. He's actually outpacing Irony. I was praising him, but Fitz right there with him.
That's insane for a Soldier player to get things done straight away. And we saw that Shire was outpacing Fitz earlier on, but this time Fitz is way ahead. The Nano does arrive for Irony in time to deal with Fitz, but who do you actually nano here? Nanoing Bernard, not great. This is why you want to Winston. Winston's way better target. Has to go into Shire, but he doesn't have a visor, so this one's just going to be dry.
Yeah, the Helix Rocket's not going to connect. They just pull back around the corner for now, playing this out safely. The name's still quite far forward, just hugging the fountain, denying line of sight. So the Nano not going to lead it too much. It does allow for Shy to catch up. He's just going to be 5% away, but now Fitz gets the Nano visor. Pulls the trigger on that one as Prophet moves forward, looking for a target. He's hounding down Shy, a little bit of healing out onto him, but the stick is going to be good. And it's a great little pick off there from the side of Prophet. So while the Nano visor doesn't find too much, Prophet gets the elimination, and that's more than enough for the Hangzhou Spark to have to disengage. They try to get the body block there onto Alpha Yi, but he just blinks right through.
It's a major reset. I mean, it might only just be the one kill, but it really blows the time out. It's 2 minutes gone now. Payload control well in the hands of the Seoul Dynasty, and you can just see, I mean, the difference in Nano selection there. Alpha E on the Tracer, Burn on the Diva, none of them great. This is why it's maybe even better for Alpha E to be on the Genji. At least the drying out on the Genji makes a lot more sense. Hoping that this Pulse Bomb does something. I mean, Prophet certainly landed some. That one's going to go wide.
Goes a bit too wide, yeah. Doesn't manage to flick the mouse fast enough to the side to go over and get that stick. Now the Visor's going to be back through here for Shy. Popping that, looking for some more targets again, hugging against the fountain. Everybody trying to stay safe. The Helix Rocket's not going to get the connection. That would have been Fitz dead, but instead he managed to stay alive. Now Smurf goes forward with a Primal Rage, looking to create some more space here. Open things back up for the rest of his team to rejoin. No remake at all as Bernard will fall. Now Shy going to be taken down. The cart halted. Not much further to go, but it's only going to be 1 minute and 7 seconds remaining now for the side of the Hangzhou Spark. And they're still throwing ults at this, despite having the losses. The rally's rolling for Super Rich. Smurf pulling back, Vindheim right here alongside him, just trying to keep everybody topped up with that passive healing, and it is working a treat. The supports now fall. Prophet gets Alpha E. It's going to have to be another reset now with 50 seconds left to go.
And it's a fresh Zarya as well. I mean, this is how you know the Diva is just completely worthless. Just a fresh Zarya coming out of nowhere for Burner. You say, Diva ain't doing anything for me here. It's got to be the Zarya or nothing. To be fair, you're not really playing for much high ground anymore. Snowball real high ground, low ground contesting. You can just run at them on the floor, but this also does mean by the time we get to B, Burner's going to swap again because you can't play the Zarya on B. So really, it's scuffed from here to B to C, and I don't even know if we're going to get there. It's a Nano onto, again, probably just dry into Shy. No Visor to combo this one with. Just has to run, and Burner's got no energy. Otherwise, you probably would Nano Burner instead. So many ultimates coming online for Seoul. This should be a full hold.
Should be Prophet slinking around the back. He identifies where the supports are at. Has the blanks, goes in, throws in the Pulse Bomb, not going to get the stick. Gets quite a bit of damage there on the Irony, but cannot get the elimination. Alpha E in the meantime, he finds his target. Creative going to be dead, but the Nano Boost is going to be used in his dying breath. That goes on the Fitz, and he does have the Tac Visor. That combo now rolling as we enter into
Super
overtime. Low HP bars. Bernard left out to dry. No one can get to him. He's completely isolated away from the rest of the team, and it seems like this is how it ends. This is how the series will go. This is how the Hangzhou Sparks run in the kickoff clash will come to a conclusion. Not with a roar, not with a bang, but with a whimper. Dynasty take it easily.
I mean, bang, maybe in the case of an implosion happening inside the team here, it just does not look like the Hangzhou Spark that ended things 5-1 in the qualification stage of the kickoff clash. They've had games where they've clutched even in dire situations, and we get to the end of Dorado, and I just got no sense of that at all. It doesn't feel like they had much of an opportunity to actually have those clutches anymore. Okay, Alpha E does get the kill into creative, but so what? So many ultimates coming online for the Seoul Dynasty. Even if things go poorer from there, let's say that Fitz gets less value on the Nano Visor. Smurf, Primal Rage about to be online. You can play the OT respawns not that far away for the Seoul Dynasty, considering where the payload positioning was. So yeah, I mean, Seoul Dynasty set themselves up for great success, and I think the fact that you said that we were looking at shades of Midtown ended up being painfully correct, because Midtown was exactly what just happened again on Dorado. A almost full cap through for Seoul, and then not at all much of a cap for the Hangzhou Sparks, unfortunately. So stopped up nice and early. Ends up being a 3-0. Comfortable win for the Seoul Dynasty, and Seoul looking for that revenge match against Shanghai a little bit later on.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see, whether that comes up in their next matchup, or if they have to make their way all the way to the grand finals. Either way, they certainly are going to have their work cut out for them, just given the form that Dragons and Fusion both showed yesterday. There's no easy matchups from here on out. Hangzhou Spark, I don't know, just clearly not their day. We didn't have everybody operating on the same page there, it would seem, but somebody who was operating at full functionality today, for the most part, a couple moments on Midtown, otherwise full functionality was Prophet. Just looked utterly kingly, I suppose, is the best way to put it. Man just dominated.
And, we see plays like this, the Death Blossoms coming on through. You have to kind of credit maybe Coach Toby here for setting up the compositions. A great read on Midtown to have, I would say, the superior compositions, which really helped out. That's the replay on the triple Pulse Bomb there as well. So, yeah, Prophet really delivered today. I think Fitz was stable, Smurf, Creative, Vindheim all stable, but Prophet coming in clear playoff form. Like I said, maybe a couple of hiccups on Midtown, but, even the best of them, you'll see a couple of hiccups. Even on Lip's best day that we saw yesterday, nearly a 60,000 damage game, still had a couple of poor maps in there. It happens to the best of them, but Prophet, undoubtedly, I think the best player in today's server across all 10 players.
Yeah, I think it was a little bit rough when it came down to the pulse bombs there from Prophet from time to time. We weren't seeing nearly as many sticks as we're used to seeing because, 6 pulse bomb kills, half of those came from 1 pulse bomb, and we saw him use a hell of a lot of pulse bombs today. The Zarya bubbles as well were absorbing some of those, but, it is what it is. It doesn't matter because whether or not he's got the pulse bomb, you still have to respect the damage. The guy just still pumps damage.
5 pulse bombs attached, but 3 kills was from 1 attached, so 4 pulse bombs were also attached, and 1 of them didn't get a kill, so there's definitely some interplay with the bubbles coming through for sure. So some interesting things going on there. I would say ultimately a pretty disappointing end for the Hangzhou Spark. We really did expect a lot more. I know there were definitely people that felt strongly enough about the Spark, especially being 1 first seed, that maybe even they could go to the finals, take the win, get a tournament. This would probably be the best time to do so while the Dragons are still trying to wake up. I think the Dragons are pretty awake currently. They got their morning coffee. Seoul seem to be the same thing. The Tigers are in full force. Fusion, got to be a little bit careful now as well because they're flanked on both sides by very, very strong teams.
No, they absolutely are. But, I mean, now for the Seoul Dynasty, they can sit back, they can relax, they can watch this next matchup, see who their opponent is going to be tomorrow, and then start counter-stratting them as best as humanly possible. So they've got time on their side. But coming up next, guys, oh boy, this could be an interesting one. I mean, out the gate, the 3-0 from the side of the Fusion against the Dragons. Now they get their rematch. Dragons have been looking utterly incredible as of late. Fusion as well, stepping things up yesterday. This could be a titanic clash. We're going to find out what happens in just a little bit. When we come back, myself and Avril, we'll chat up a little bit about it. We'll try to big up this matchup and get you guys really geared up and ready to go. So stay tuned, and then we'll have a little bit of talk time when we come back.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by Upper Deck, the official trading card of the Overwatch League. And by TeamSpeak, the official voice supplier of the Overwatch League.
Alrighty, we are back, guys. Before we go into our second series of the evening between the Fusion and the Dragons, myself and Avril, of course, we like to take some time and just go ahead and think back on the previous match. I don't know. I don't have too much to kind of recollect here, though. Avril, it kind of went by pretty quickly. Not too much to draw from. Is Dynasty, they get a very clean 3-0. For the Hangzhou Spark, I think they're definitely going to be disappointed. What do you think that this means for Spark moving forward? Because obviously, they had this sort of trend last season as well, where it was like get geared up to try to go in, into a tournament series and then kind of fall flat there. This time, they're in the tournament series, they fall flat off the rip. What do you think we can anticipate from them moving forward?
Probably more of the same. No, I don't want to be mean about it. I don't know. I hope not more of the same. Actually, I really hope it's not more of the same because you're right.
I agree.
Last year, we all remember the June Joust. 4-0, perfect stage. We even, I think it was the Hangzhou homestand even during the June Joust that we saw them go 4-0, and then in the qualifier, they had to get into the actual tournament to go to, well, I say go to Hawaii, virtually go to Hawaii. They lost to the New York Excelsior, and that was a humongous upset. So, it's like Hangzhou get very close, they look amazing, they will give you all this belief in the regular season, the qualifiers, and then it dashes away very quickly in, I suppose you could call it like a pseudo playoff, right? It is the actual tournament stage. I don't know, it just looks like a very different team, right? All the good things that we saw, even yesterday, even versus the Philadelphia Fusion, which, it started to already look few and far in between, but at least that Midtown was looking pretty dynamite. We had questions coming into Midtown today, like, okay, well, did they destroy Midtown because they were just so good at it? Or was it because, well, that Fusion played a weird comp that they don't look practice on? And I think it's definitely, the latter of which now that we can safely look towards. Alfie still tried his best. We're looking through the replay package where we are still getting highlights from the Alpha Yi gameplay, but Tracer is probably not as signature of a hero for him is, let's say, the Genji, and he surprisingly played very little Genji this series compared to previous series where that had been the bread and butter for the Hangzhou Spark in terms of how they want to carry. They want to put the Genji into play. That's the hero that gets them across the line. Never really showed up. Soul didn't have the most amazing game. I think we can be honest about that as well. We've certainly seen better games out of Soul, but it was enough to get them a 3-0 here, and in fact, Hangzhou only got 1 point, 3 maps, 1 point the entire way through. So Seoul, despite looking like more like an average day at work for them, they're not, they're not on full steam just yet. Still ended up having such a clean game, points-wise and score-wise.
Yeah, one of those moments, just, I'll defeat you using only 25% of my power, perhaps, for the side of the Seoul Dynasty, and they probably are going to get pushed, probably going to have to use their full power moving forward, because obviously they're still in the lower bracket. So if they get eliminated, if they lose the next series, whoever that may be against, that is going to be their Kickoff Clash run done. But for now, they do stay alive. We have to determine who is going to be seeded forward into the Grand Final and who is going to be playing against the Dynasty tomorrow in that lower bracket final, because, the loser of this next series is going to have to do just that and take on the Dynasty. We'll see who can get the W. Is it going to be the Fusion? Is it going to be the Dragons? What sort of form do we have from the side of the Philly Fusion? What is the map set going to look like? How many maps does Carpe play? Does this pop off in the Genji? All of these questions and more are going to be answered in just a few minutes, so don't go anywhere, guys, because we're going to return in just a bit. And welcome back. It is time to see who is moving forward into the grand final and who falls down to the lower bracket and has to square off against the Dynasty. Will it be the Dragons yet again, or will it be the Fusion who managed to pick up this victory? We are going to find out in just a few minutes. But Fusion have had some ups and downs. Both teams, I think it's safe to say, have had their ups and downs for sure. Dragons playing more 5-map series than pretty much everybody else in the league right now, but managing to persevere, managing to push forward, end up getting that second seed. Fusion starting off hot, then kind of fading out a little bit. Now it seems like they're in a bit of a return to form after yesterday, though, Avril. We'll see what we can expect from these rookies going up against the veteran squad of the Dragons.
It's funny that you bring up highs and lows here, because I would argue that the highest of the highs and the lowest of the lows for both these teams happened in their match against each other in our opening game of the entire APAC region here for 2022. Fusion's best game of the season, no doubt, I think was actually against the Dragons 3-0. No one expected that. Everyone thought the Dragons would be coming out all guns blazing. Fusion, bunch of rookies. What could they really do, right? But they came out, destroyed the Dragons 3-0. Didn't look close. Maybe Kings Row looked a little bit more competitive. Dragons, on the other hand, what happened? They were completely lost. It looked like they only just started scrimming the day before. I know they were late to scrims, but they weren't that late to scrims. They did not look good in that series versus the Fusion. However, fast forward to today, we saw that match that that Shanghai played last night. Brilliant stuff. The most clutch performance we've ever seen from Dragons, and they seem to be clutching almost every single game. That level is so difficult to beat. And Fusion now are going to have to play up to, I think, their potential. They need to be at the highest level that they can be themselves to face up against the Dragons that's playing like this.
Oh, they absolutely do. I mean, Dragons, they still managed to close that series, in spite of not contesting the cart on Route 66. They just completely don't get the touch. They don't even force that overtime.
And still won.
Yep, they get the Shanghai, and they end up still managing to win that series at the very end. So, yeah, it was incredible stuff from the side of the Shanghai Dragons. It's, again, just that hive mind that we haven't been seeing as much of because there have been those inconsistencies at the beginning of the season.
Yeah.
But when it comes down to it, when push comes to shove, a switch gets flicked, and all of a sudden everybody is operating on the same page on the side of the Dragons, and they're able to clutch out in these just miraculous scenarios where it seems like they are absolutely done and dusted. So Fusion, they certainly have their work cut out for them. But, I mean, good Lord, what do you think it would mean to these rookies if they are able to come in here, best the Dragons yet again, and find themselves in a grand final in the first tournament of the year? That would be such an incredible high for these guys.
They're the only ones that have done it. They're the only ones that have actually defeated the Dragons. If it wasn't for that, Dragons might be 6-0. But Dragons have had kind of a shaky regular season right in the qualification stage. It starts with the 0-3. The rookies beat the veterans, the defending champions even, but now we look at where we were just last night. Route 66, disgustingly bad map from the Dragons. I actually went back and watched. The reason why they C9 that one was because Fate touched at 3.2 seconds instead of 3 seconds. You have to touch within the final 3 seconds to enable the OT. He touched 0.2 seconds too early. So, happens. Let's go ahead and meet the teams. You should already know them. The Shang AI, as they're colloquially known. It's time to turn online. Actually, we'll meet them later. It's the Fusion first. And it's the rookie squad, right, led by Carpe. And God's technically a veteran here as well. He's been playing since Season 1 with a bit of a gap in the middle, going back to contenders. But the storyline for this match really is, it's the rookie superstar squad, Zest, trying to make his bid for Rookie of the Year. And he's competing against guys like Alpha Yi, but with Hangzhou Spark bowing out early, I mean, Zest, it's his opportunity now to kind of prove himself and get ahead of Alpha Yi once again in that race. And you have one of the most rookie squads and one of the best rookie squads versus the literal defending champions and probably the most veteran squad in the entire region as well, and maybe even in the entire Overwatch League, with no rookies on their team, full veterans that have been playing forever, and everybody's a champion. Except for Benji.
Yeah, it's a bit of a toss up there, I would say, between them and the Dynasty. As I think we have a little bit of extra time to kind of go on some tangents. You and I were actually kind of talking about this during the break. Which team is actually a bit more veteran? Because there are some newer faces on the side of the Seoul Dynasty. Obviously, Mayhem coming in, also somebody who's trying to be in contention for that Rookie of the Year spot. But of course, you have Prophet, who is an Overwatch League champion as well as an Apex champion. The guy's been competing for so many years now. And
so is who are you, though?
To be at the top. You've got Fitz there. Those guys have been in a grand finals, but who are you? As you mentioned, has been playing for so very long, since that Apex era and whatnot. So it's very much a battle I think between those two teams, as much as the rivalry often happens in the lobby, I think it's also a little bit extraneous to the game itself when you try to think about who is the more veteran team between those two. But enough about the Dynasty. They got their win. We can focus on the rookies and the veterans that they have here on the side of the Fusion.
I think it would be accurate to say that everybody on this entire Dragon squad has had a minimum of 3 seasons in the league, correct? Flitter Lip, Who Are You, Fate, Void, Lijiang, Izayaki, Bebe.
Yeah.
With Lijiang joining pretty, I mean, he'd be the most, him and Lip would be the most recent additions, and even then, they now both have 3 seasons under their belt. Bebe joined, I think, even in Season 2. Izayaki's been there since, I think, Season 2 or Season 1. Void's been an Apex player, Who Are You's been an Apex player, Fate's been an Apex player, Flitter's been an Apex player. So, in that regard, yeah, I still think it probably is Dragons as the most veteran team because nobody on this team has less than 3 seasons under their belt, and now they're all champions except for Baby. Sorry, I had to call that. I have to be accurate, guys. Come on, I do have to be accurate about this. Can't lie. Maybe this year. Hey, Who Are You got a free chip last year? So did Molly.
Yeah.
So did Develop. It's Baby's turn. Baby's turn to get a chip. So there it is.
You're not supposed to leak
guys
the
been waiting.
script this early, Avril. You're not supposed to tell everybody how the Grand Finals is
God.
going to go when we're so many months away from it.
Listen,
Still
we
got,
know.
what,
It's
4
fine.
months to be played out?
Just teleport me to the final. We know Dragons go back to back. You know, who cares? It's fine. We know. The script is leaked.
We'll have to just wait and see if it does end up coming to that. But, I mean, given the recent form, it's really difficult to kind of doubt this team. Because while there have been a lot of inconsistencies and a lot of unpredictable results across both regions, like you mentioned,
make a
outside
prediction.
of the loss to Fusion, the Dragons are always kind of just a really safe bet, it would seem.
Here's what's going to happen. We're going to get to the playoffs of 2022. Sombra is going to be bad the entire way through, but then finally enough complaining will be like, okay, Sombra is really bad. Team 4 developers, Overwatch developers, you need to buff Sombra. They do, but she's overbuffed, and then Lip gets to just carry with the Sombra until the end of the season, and that's how they win another championship. You know, I've got it. Hey, it happens not except for last year. Every other finals, every other playoffs, right? Some wacky patch comes through where something is ridiculously broken. In my
The old
mind
Jester
palace,
Roadhog
see-
patch.
I got the binoculars coming out. I can see that the Sombra is going to be unbelievably imbalanced at the end of the year, and Lip's going to use that to carry again. That's how they win. So
I think
we'll
definitely
see.
a bit of a bolder claim than just saying the Dragons will be able to get the back-to-back, but I like the intricate detail that you're going
gotta
into,
be specific.
and I think that
You got to be specific.
people are going to be clipping this, and they're going to be saving this for later on to see if
just a
you
good
end
meme.
up being correct, because this is going to
It's
get
just a
posted to
good
Reddit
meme.
and get cycled around Twitter if it ends up being exactly as you have now predicted.
Hey,
But guys,
Mr.
we are
X.
now ready to start.
Fair enough. Mr. X predicted the Shanghai Dragons would be champions one day, and he did that like years back, so I don't know how he did that. He went into an actual time machine. However, like you
True.
said, we're going to get into game. Philly Fusion,
That we
Shanghai
are.
Dragons, upper bracket, and it's not even the end of the road yet. The winner goes on to the Grand Finals, the loser drops down to face the Seoul Dynasty. Now, let's be straight here. Fusion do come in as the underdogs. They are the rookie team, but they are also the only team once more to have actually beaten the Dragons at any stage this year. Dragons, outside of that one loss, are undefeated. Yeah, they've gone to like multiple map 5s, but they haven't dropped a single map 5. Can they drop that today? We are also going to Lijiang Tower. This is Dragons map pick as the higher seed. We saw how unbelievably good they were on this map last night. We also saw the Fate Rhine. If you're Fusion, you should know the Rhine is available. And in fact, Fate's just going to do it straight away.
Yeah, they're going to do it off the rip here on Gardens, which is definitely not what we were seeing yesterday. That was on Command Center. The wall comes up here from Who Are You's May, blocks off the reinforcements. That's now going to be... Control Center, you're correct. Thank you very much for pointing that out. And I can't believe I had that trip up. And oh my goodness, what is this swap up from the Fusion?
It's the Bellasaria
Is this
Ball. We
the
actually saw the
counter-strat?
Bellasaria Ball, the B Bellasaria Ball, not yesterday, the week before, when they played up against Hangzhou Spark. No, it didn't look good. However, I think if you are going to try and counter a Rhine composition, fire a ball, kind of good. I mean, this is actually what Shanghai would have played last year to counter a Rhine as well.
Okay, well, unfortunately, Bellasaria, despite the fact that he can't be frozen in place, Who Are You is still getting this similar treatment as the 2021 ball that we were seeing. And Carpe now just going to be jumping over the side,
Goodbye,
goes to the
Carpe.
reset, knows that he cannot escape. Still have this forward position as Fix getting tagged low. Will manage to stay alive. Carpe now going to be respawning. Who are you? Pressured out, goes into the ice block. Here's the Rockets continue to fly in, and Zest, he's got this barrage ready to roll, and now Who Are You is going to be taken down. Big opening here for the side of the Philly Fusion, who are kind of making this work decently. We'll have to see a little bit more of it, though. See whether or not it's going to be able to come up with the eliminations. Up over the top, and oh boy, yep, the window is there. Is Iaki going to be taking a nap, but so is this as he goes sailing off the side of the map, so not going to be able to bring him back into the fight. Not going to be seeing the barrage yet. Now with Bellis Rio getting picked off by Who Are You has since respawned. It's going to have to be another reset. The TAC-Flies are even going to be used by Lip just to go ahead and try to find some final kills. Will be Carpe dead to Lijiang gone to the very end of it, but the Dragons, they'll just go ahead and hold this.
You need Carpe on a Tracer here. I think the Soldier is generally speaking good, but unfortunately in this type of composition, you're just going to end up shooting shields. You need more diving, flanking power. Somebody has to help out Bellis Rio. Part of the reason why the ball's not going to be effective is you need somebody to be diving onto the damage with the ball to actually confirm those kills. It can't just be Zest from, I guess, the skies. Also, there's no Diva here to help out the Bellis Rio, so that's another thing that really does hurt, as well as then the Who Are You dink on the Carpe. It's going to be a reset. Best thing that Fusion can do here is set up Zest for an off angle, which he has, but they have to wait for Carpe.
Yeah, but every twist and turn, every time he really pokes out from above this rooftop, he's being met with an immense amount of damage, so he's nearly died. And as I say it, Lip will find the elimination. Fixa pops the Valkyrie. Now it's going to be that barrier here from Lijiang on the Blizzard being used as well over here on the bridge. Carpe again just has to dive off the side, and I don't know if anyone's going to be able to touch. Okay, they do get Fixa in there for just a moment, but Izayaki shuts him down, and that should just be it. The barrage is being used off screen. Cool. It got Fate, but it feels like that is basically the second elimination. You'll have to check this for me. How many kills did the Fusion have here?
2.
Yep.
Total.
There you go.
Both from Zest.
And Zest got both of them.
Yeah, correct.
He killed
What
Who Are
a
You,
damage,
he
don't
killed
get me
Fate, and that's it.
Almost 12,000 damage per 10 from Zest on the Fire, which is standard. Fire versus a ground-based Ryan comp. We saw that all the time. Jimmu was hitting upwards of 16 to 20k damage last season versus, 6 players on the other side, including 2 tanks. But when you're now into 5v5, you're trying to play, if you are going to play a ball, it is a dive composition through and through. To play a dive composition properly, you need someone that can dive. Either a Genji or a Tracer, cannot be Soldier Farah. Half these ultimates never got used from the Philly Fusion. When was Carpe ever going to use his ultimate? It's a really weird situation. And now we're going back towards the Rhine once more, because it is control center. The Shanghai Spitfire going to sail this one home, maybe, unless Bellis Rio on the Doom can counter it.
He's doing his damnedest. It's a good opening kill, though, as they find Izayaki. Like he actually used the Immortality Field. Yeah, it wasn't up in the kill feed, so just too much pressure. Wasn't ready to respond. Does get caught off guard a bit there. He's now going to be swapping over to the Ana. Try to build up, catch up to Aim God here with that Nano Charge, but given the initial pickoff, okay, some swaps going to be coming through. They will concede the first cap of the point.
They are trying to counter the Doom now. That's what they're doing. That's why the Ana's being played in, hard counter to Doom. Same thing with the Reaper as well. Dink from Who Are You onto Aim God. It's already a 5v4.
Yep, gets the headshot. The anti was out on the fix, and Lijiang gone. It's actually the one that hounds him down. Finds an elimination. The wall up. Carpe not able to escape. And just like that, I mean, they just changed the comp, and it immediately starts working for the side of the Dragons. Quick flip. They're going to be taking the lead here in just a moment.
And I think on a lot of situations, the Bellis Rio Doom, or just Doom in general, should have a great matchup in towards a Rhine composition. The problem is, on a map like this, now that Shanghai have control, now that they have good Doom counters up, like the Ana and also the Reaper, it's hard for Bellis Rio to get in. It's hard for him to put Fade into a corner and give him a bad game.
Bionade out from Izayaki, trying to keep everybody topped up. Who Are You pulls back around the corner. A little bit of damage here, but Widely is going to be okay. Fate takes a nap. Lip going to be eliminated. Who Are You? Again, just locking them in, looking for these eliminations. Bellis Rio keeping himself quite safe, though, with that added HP that he's getting from the punches, from the seismic slams. They find some opening kills as both supports and the tank are going to fall. It seems like the Fusion should be able to get this flip back into their favor. Who Are You? Buying a little bit of time, trying to get that next Blizzard up. They will end up dying 8% away from it as the flip comes through. 52% on board for Shanghai.
It's actually a really low damage output for the Shanghai Dragons, particularly look at Fate. That's his, he hasn't used a Shatter. Your eyes do not lie. He's working on his first Shatter. He's only at 62%. He's barely managed to get any sort of damage in. Shatter can win your fight. Meanwhile, you look at the Fusion, they have 5 ultimates coming online, so this Doom composition is starting to find some value now. It's really putting Dragons on a weird spot by splitting up their team in most of these fights.
Okay, well, speaking of splitting up, I was going to say Bellis Rio in a bit of an awkward spot. As he Meteor Strikes back in, is going to be slept, pinned, antied out. Fate finds the elimination. Now the sound barrier going to be dropped in. The wall comes up, they cut off Aim God. That's going to be the Blizzard invested. Zest, however, with a blade, managing to find two. The Death Blossom used. They find another, and Zest dives into the Blizzard, ends up dying. Lippin, who are you, are still here. Carpe skirting around the center pillar, though, with the help of Fixa, will be able to clean up these final members on the side of the Dragons. It looked like maybe it was going to slip through their fingers for a moment, but no. The Fusion will maintain control and take the lead.
And this is also where, you know, Lip's actually behind the Death Blossom. To be fair, he also changed over to the Reaper slightly late. We finally do have a Shadow online. The Nano's only just come online for Izayaki. Everything on the Dragon side has been slow in terms of ult charge, despite actually having won a fight very early on. And even now, Fusion. Okay,
yep, looking for it. There's the pin.
So that's a traded kill. No Nano, though.
Yep, Death Blossom now into the back. Sleep immediately going to be greeting Lip. And yeah, they confirm the damage. They managed to find the elimination. Well, up there for just a moment. Zest dashing third finds Lijiang gone. It looks like the Fusion might have successfully turned this on his head after a very shaky start. They're just looking to get the stagger here onto Who Are You? Oh, it's just brutal. Not something that Amaze you typically used to experiencing. Ends up going down, and Lip cannot arrive fast enough. So good turnaround here from the side of the Fusion. They managed to make the comp work. Good little change-ups here from them as Bellisria overall looking a lot more solid on the Doomfist compared to the Wrecking Ball.
Well, I just think it's a good sort of matchup, right? I mean, the Doomfist should have probably have been the choice coming out onto Garden, but I think the reasoning for the Fusion is they're thinking about it being an open map. There's a lot of positions we can boot players off. I know both heroes can boot, but someone like Bellisria has a lot more practice on the ball, having played that a bunch for T1 back during the Sombra Ball meta of Contenders Korea of last year, right? So there's some confidence on the ball. However, ball really is just not meta. Doesn't have the Diva to support, doesn't have the Zyra to support, doesn't have any support. Awkward as a solo tank. Doom is a far more sustainable pick that's going to give you hard value versus the Ryan. And the fact that Fate comes back up, I mean, Bellisria should just go straight back to spawn. They should spot the Ryan, go back on the Doom first. Night Market, great Doom map. In fact, good Fire map as well. Zest can go back and get the Fire, get the Doom. Yep. That will be the counter.
Yep, they're hightailing it. They say, okay, yep, we see the comp now. Let's just go ahead and give it the first cap potentially. As there's 8 seconds remaining, they will just go ahead and swap it up.
Worked last time,
the same things.
But and to be honest with you, last time they even lost a fight first before swapping. So Shanghai Dragons don't even have that first fight victory going for them this time. I was going to say before Fate ended up going for the Shadow, but Fusion had more percentage capped than Dragons, despite being a couple fights down early.
Okay, Bellisria diving into the back, doesn't get too much extra HP off of the Seismic Slam, but still manages to make his way out to safety. Lip going to be cut down. Mortality Field unable to save him there from Izayaki. Bellisria continues to play up front. Now they're looking for Lijiang gone. He escapes, makes his way over to the Mega Pack, gets that healing, but there's still just so much pressure being exerted here from the side of the Fusion. They pick up the kill. Fate now, yep, going to be taken down. No chance of survival for him. Izayaki's on the opposite side of the map with nowhere to go. Will end up falling. Lippin, who are you? They managed to find a couple of kills here at the very end, but the flip will be there all the same for the Fusion.
And now Shanghai are going to give up onto the Ryan comp, and straight away Bellisria is like, if you're not going to play Ryan, I'm not going to play Doom. It's going to end up being Winston versus Zarya, who are you even over towards the Tracer. So back to standard gameplay. I think for the Shanghai Dragons, they wanted to see if they could, in the words of some Overwatch League players, cheese out the win versus the Philadelphia Fusion. Not going to be the case today. Fusion are prepared. They've seen the Ryan before. They've dealt with the Ryan, and now they force Fate off the Ryan.
Well, they're prepared for it after the first round, we should say. They managed to tie it up. Now they're trying to deal with it.
You know, the ball's average.
Well, there's the Nano out on the Carpe, and Lijiang cannot escape. Will end up falling. So Nano for a single kill. That's going to be a fight reset, and the lead now snatched up here for Fusion. Looks like we'll have a pause. Not sure who called for it. Looks like it's going to be on the side of the Dragons. And we'll see. Hopefully this will just be a quick little issue that we can get taken care of and go right back into the action. But there's a break, there's a lull, so it's not like we're right in the middle of a team fight, because you always hate to see those moments where you have that pause and people are right on top of each other. There's an ult getting ready to be used, and you're like, oh, I don't know how it's going to happen, how things are going to go after we unpause this. But this is about the best time we can have it happen.
We're about to unpause soon, and just to give a bit of an update, Lip's about to get towards the visor, fixes nearly onto the sound barrier as well. But smart things from Fusion. I'm again, credit to the players and the coaching staff, Jin, the head coach there as well, for having done the prep to know, okay, we're going to Lijiang, high likelihood of a Fate Ryan here. How are we going to counter? We know Bellisria can play the Doom. I know a lot of people are pretty down on Doom. I think Doom stocks have sunken quite a bit. The game is now unpaused, so we'll be heading back in. But Doom is still a reasonable counter versus the Ryan-based comps, because you're just mispositioning them so heavily. You know, the Rhine-based comp wants to play as a group, and if you can have a Doom punch them out of the way and just put them into weird spots, I mean, that's how you beat a Rhine comp.
Contesting the point for now, but Fusion go ahead and shove them back. Tac visor going to be popped. Goes in, is looking for Fixa, but he hugs the corner, drops the beat, gets the shielding out onto everybody on the side of the Fusion. The anti now connecting onto 2. Fate and Lip falling low. Lijiang as well with a sliver of HP. Looks like he manages to pick up a health pack, but it's not going to help him enough. Hizayaki, Lip, and Fate all end up dying. Who are you? He flips the point in the meantime, but they rejoin back over, and it's only 5% snatched up. Right back into control are the Fusion, holding onto the blade. The Nano nearly there to couple with it.
Yep. Saw Carpet getting quite vocal in the camera there as well. The captain of the squad, longest standing member, the most veteran player on this team, leading his troops. Squad of young rookies here, 80%, 40% ahead in fact. A couple of support ultimates coming online for the Shanghai Dragons, but otherwise it's just a pulse bomb. Can the Philadelphia Fusion rack this one up with just a single blade? It's got to be a nano blade as well.
Who are you? Into the back. He's going to get the stick. Aim God going to be taken out of the fight. First and foremost, a good opener here for the side of the Dragons. But as I say, that Carpet gets on top of Fate, finds the elimination. The beat's still going to be used by Lijiang because they know that they have to take the fight right now. They have to get this flip if they want to have a chance of closing out Lijiang Tower. Ilios will be eliminated. For now, the rest of the Fusion are happy to concede this. They know that they have time on their side, so they go ahead and they pull away.
2 ultimates spent. So it ends up being somewhat expensive for the Shanghai Dragons. Fate will have a grab coming online soon as well. If you can solo grab Zest Blade coming up, that'll actually be insane. You don't want to be solo grabbing Balasria this time. Once Zest goes for the Blade, you must have the grab to counter the Blade. Otherwise, this could be lights out. The Nano Blade could be huge.
Is not going to happen, and obviously they have since swapped off. They don't have an immortality field as well here, and that's just going to be the cleanup coming through. Zest only managing to find 1, but now the follow-up fight is very much going the side of the Fusion. Grab is going to be used, Fate finding 1. He's trying to stay alive. He's got a sliver of HP, but he ends up killing himself off with a right click. The respawns are coming in, but no one's going to be able to get there in time. Lip only just got back into the game in the Fusion after a very rocky start, after a lot of flip-flopping around, trying the Wrecking Ball. It falls flat. They double down, they get a read on the Dragons comp, and they manage to close it out. A little mini reverse sweep on the side of Lijiang Tower as they take it 2-1.
And that's a great sign for Fusion as well, that, you know, they weren't just going to be outclassed by the Dragons today. Shanghai, you know, maybe we just got to put the reset button on that one, you know, turn it off and on, see if it works after that. But Zest managed to get the Nano Blade out before the grab is available. So you see that Fate had the right idea. He wanted to go for the grab onto Zest, but the grab just wasn't there. The Nano Blade already got its value. Shanghai already behind after attempting to play the Rhine on the night market. I think the Rhine obviously has a lot more value on Control Center. Once you start bringing it out on the other maps, far less valuable. They survive against the Fire and the Ball because Ball, not great in this meta. Fire, pretty questionable as well. Once you play the Doom, though, different story. Fusion have the superior matchup.
Well, a really great way for the Fusion to kick things off. The Dragons, this is probably going to be feeling a bit like familiar territory given the way that the last matchup went, but they're going to be looking for stability, and they have yet again their map choice to rely on. Looks like we're going to have Eichenwalde coming up for our hybrid map, selected by the Dragons. We'll see how they fare there. We'll see if we have any swaps to the roster as well for that map, or if Who Are You is just going to be sticking through, which I think he will. Guys, we're going to take a quick break, though. When we come back, we'll have map number 2. Alrighty, we are back and about to go into game number 2. Despite having the map pick for control at the beginning, the Shanghai Dragons cannot close it out on their namesake of Lijiang Tower. They end up losing that one 2-1. Fusion looking good, adapting well to the Rhine strategies with the May and everything that we were seeing there from the side of the Shanghai Dragons. They get it in the second and the third rounds. Now we go forward yet again with the Dragons map pick, this time Eichenwalde for Hybrid to see if they can tie this up 1-1.
I'm so surprised as Eichenwalde because we could have forced another Midtown incident here. Dragons, it was open to them. They could have gone to Midtown. We know what happens when Fusion go to Midtown. And Dragons are like, you know, it's fine. We'll lose 0-2 here. Maybe look for the reverse sweep. Shock have only done that like 5 million times now. Or Dragons have actually done that as well so far this season. Who knows? Eichenwalde, they've chosen this map though. They want to keep Fate in the roster. And to be honest with you, there is a small percentage chance we see more Rhine, although I'm not expecting that until we get to C. So once we get to the C defense, offense stage, maybe Fate changes over towards that again. But for now, it should just be standard Winston play. No Fury in for the side of Fusion either. It is still Balisria, so Winston dive on both ends. Who are you still in? I think at this stage, they're saying, okay, Zest, you played a pretty good Genji. Let's see what Who Are You can do.
Yeah, I mean, we'll have to just wait and see. As you can see there on the bottom of your screens, though, of course, MN3 is going to be stepping in for Carpe. This is nothing new. This should not be a cause for panic for the side of the Fusion fans. I was joking to Avril before. Like, he's going to get subbed out. MN3 is going to come in. Maybe they lose on Eichenwalde. And then all the Fusion fans are going to be like, oh, there's no Carpe. There's no win. We can't win without Carpe. He's the veteran on the team. And it's like, well, no. Like, they literally swept the Dragons in their first meeting this season without Carpe being in, so you guys can calm down. You don't need to panic. Everything should be okay. MN3 is a good player, and if they lose this map, it's because the Dragons are really, really good. But we'll see what happens. Just and also stay calm, everybody.
Zest is not in his chair, right? That's the other reason. Zest has left his chair, and Fusion are playing a man down. Okay, he's back. Woo! Crisis averted. Zest returns. But
I hope everybody liked that voice too.
I actually enjoyed it. I want you to do.
That's what the fans sound like to me.
Not this matchup, but at some stage, maybe a low stakes game out there. Maybe we cast I don't know, some all-star match, and then you just do that voice the entire way through. I'd really enjoy that. But yeah, Carpe always gets subbed out for map number 2 as a standard. He'll come back for probably map 5 at this stage, maybe even map 4, but. MN3 Sniper, potentially for this map. I think probably Ash. I think I'm feeling the Ash and the Cassidy for MN3 today on this map. We know Shy's played a lot of Ash on this particular map as well. Soldier's obviously the standard. Lip will be on the Soldier, no doubt. But MN3 has not been as keen to bring out the Soldier as the other hit scans that we've seen across the league. Even though I think Soldier has been much more standard as a hero to play in his scan position. Now, there always is the opportunity to play Tracer, Genji for this team as well, because a lot of people don't realize, but MN3 is also a Tracer play. He just hasn't played it at all this season, and because Balisria is in for the dive, that option is always available. Not expecting it, though, because usually MN3 has played the flick scans instead. So just kind of waiting to get into the game. So bear with us as trying to figure that one out. I think Drag is like, hang on a second, we picked Midtown, right? Is that what we picked? Oh, Eichenwalde? Who did that? Can we undo that choice? Because
it's Coach Moon again.
That doesn't seem right.
The one made the call to try to just ham fist the Reinhardt on all 3 rounds of Lijiang Tower. Is also going to Eichenwalde instead of going to Midtown. I mean, they did immediately pretty much make me be wrong, because we were talking about this yesterday after the Midtown incident that we won't discuss any further. That was going to be a map that teams were going to attack the Fusion on. That was going to be where they try to exploit and get a win out of them. But the Dragons say no. We're going to go to Eichenwalde. We're going to go back to the map where we had the most clutch tag of a cart that we've ever seen. Yeah. With the .05 contest from Who Are You. So they say, you know what? Let's go back to that where we won by the slimmest of margins. Not the map where the other team looks widely absent and doesn't know what to play. But they are getting ready to start the game up, so we should be going in to map number 2 here in just a second, guys. We can get the action underway and can stop listening to myself and Avril just run away with our wild, wacky conversations where we occasionally make fun of you as well.
Speaking of Runaway, well, you Genji, I'm expecting... no, actually, he wasn't on Runaway. That's the wrong play. I've completely fluffed it. You know what? I don't have a point.
Yeah,
Speaking of Runaway, Lijiang gone. Lijiang gone is a Runaway player. Boom. Done. Finished. That's all I wanted to say. No more.
You got it. You nailed it.
No further comments. That's right. Huxel was that guy. It wasn't Who Are You. Damn
dare
it,
you.
Wolf's going to be disappointed in me. It's past my time. Lijiang was more my era. As fun fact, I casted Lijiang's debut professional match in Tier 2. So that happened. And from that day, I was like, you know what, this guy's got something going for him. I feel like he's got something going for him.
Did you?
Years later,
Didn't I do
back-to-back
that?
roll swap, back-to-back roll stars. No, I casted his entire Tier 2 career before he joined Runaway, and then he joined Runaway. That was when he was already good.
Oh, before you,
I looked
okay,
at this
before
guy when he was still like an
I
average
see.
player. I'm like, this is like a way above average player for this level of team. Anyway, the Who Are You Genji is going to come out, as expected. Who
All
Are
right.
You versus Zest? That's the battle we're looking for. M3 will play a Soldier. No Ash. No Cassidy. Just Soldier. Doors open.
All right. And it's just going to be a straight-up mirror matchup between the two teams, at least for now. Maybe once Shanghai sees what Fusion's running, they'll go back and be like, oh, let's bring it out to Reinhardt. But no, they stick with the Winston. As
Actually,
but now it's just gonna be a
they
little
could
poke
change
Ryan.
Ryan right now. If they wanted to cheese really hard, they're like, all right, they're playing like Genji Winston. We can't just go Ryan. If they really want to cheese, Lip's even going to go towards the Reaper. What is happening? Does
Okay.
Fate go Zarya then? Are they going to dive with the Reaper? Okay.
It looks like they are.
Okay, Moon. Okay, Moon, I see you.
You know, Winston can jump in, and then 2 seconds later, the Reaper will arrive with a teleport. Just shadow step forward. But already, Who Are You
no
playing the
bubble
corner,
support.
throws the deflect, and that's a double ante going out onto the side of the Shanghai Dragons. Tick, however, already going to be picked up. It's going to be a trade on the Winston. So playing without the tanks here as Who Are You loses the mini pack, goes down to 2 HP, and they eventually do get the elimination. Fix up, picking up Lip as well. Now no DPS. Fate still disconnected from the fight, but they get 2 ticks, 2.5 ticks really at that. So overall, this isn't a bad first volley from the side of the Shanghai Dragons. It only costs them a minute.
Yeah, well, they cost them like 6 deaths, maybe 5 deaths, but it's fine. I think that's a worthwhile trade for 2 ticks, 77.2 as well. No one's that close to ultimate. I mean, Aim God is somewhat close. That will probably be a nano that goes onto Zest to help him build the blade up. Who Are You, Izayaki somewhat further behind, and this time around you can see that Fusion are far more interested in keeping tabs on the front line. As I say that, they actually back out, so it may be less interested, but the nano should come on through regardless.
Izayaki just building it up. There's going to be the nano. That goes forward on the Zest. The blade a little ways away, but he's right in behind Lip. It had already been taken low. They get the elimination. Push up over the top.
Nice.
There's the cut down onto Lijiang. And yeah, 1 nano, 1-1 fight. Very nicely done here. Good economic balance, rather, not economic. Economic balance from the side of the Fusion.
Economic.
Yeah.
Izyaki's
It's like the
got
Brits
it,
saying
whatever it
aluminium
is.
instead of aluminum, you know?
I say aluminium.
I know you do.
It's the British way. I'm not even British.
Commonwealthers.
From Oceania. Izayaki has the nano boost coming online. Who Are You's nearly got that blade as well, so a lot of ultimates coming into play. This is going to be a bloody one. The economic exchange here is going to be quite extensive on both ends.
Point contest starting to come through. Primal going to be out from Belisria, and Zest going to look to strike first with his blade. Ante instantly greets him, though. He's going to fall low. He's going to be eliminated. Lip finding the kill. And the visor from MN3 seemingly getting no value whatsoever. Everyone just playing back away from it, hiding behind the cart. Now the blade comes from Who Are You. Goes diving in. The sleep dart connects. Izayaki now going to be out of the fight, but they have woken him back up. The beat, however, from Fixa was there, and Who Are You cannot chase deep enough to get the elimination onto the enemy Lucio. Gash not quite going to connect, ends up clipping the wall. Now Who Are You is dead, and the Fusion might be able to turn this on its head. Fate falling low, Lip going to be eliminated, and yeah, I think the Fusion actually have won this out. Now there's a minute remaining.
Yeah, there is, and Lijiang couldn't get the beat in time as well because you had Lip trying to survive. Who Are You already goes down. There's 4 players there, but unfortunately, if Lip dies, no DPSs, no time to use the sound barrier anymore. That would have been the game changer, the fight turner, but Lijiang couldn't quite get it in the last couple of percentage points there. Very close fight. A lot of ultimates used. Something like 8 or 9 ultimates used in that fight. And Aim God, by the way, is now on his 2nd nano. What a brilliant sleep from Aim God to shut down Who Are You earlier.
Right, beat versus the nano. Belisria falling low. And Ante is absolutely massive. Manages to go out onto 3, and Zest is going to be taken down despite the nano boost there. Belisria dead in midair, and the cleanup will finally come through, but it was only with 18 seconds remaining. They'll feel grateful that they get this cap at all, but the Shanghai Dragons need to make up for a massive amount of lost time there from point A. 2 minutes, 37 seconds now as they go into the streets phase.
I mean, the fight they were looking for was the previous one, right, when everyone had ultimates. Very long fight, but more ultimates were coming online for the Shanghai Dragons. They have a Nano available now. This one might actually go into the Lip because he's close towards the Blossom. Could build that one up. Otherwise, it will just be another Who Are You Nano to push on through. Speaking of pushing, the payload has paused at this rate as we wait for Lip to flank over.
Ooh. Double dive into the back line. Lijiang just trying to escape, but Bellisria pursues far enough in. Gets the support.
Backline traded.
Got an MN3. They die at the same time. Fate, Lip, and Who Are You are doing work. They come up with 3 kills. They out-trade. Now the cart needs to be recontested. Lip going to be falling low, grabs the mini pack in the Wraith form. Zest now going to be eliminated. Bellisria has to make his exit, and the cart can resume once more here from the side of the Dragons.
And as the dust settles, right, Dragons end up taking that fight win, so you get a successful dive from Bellisria and Zest, and an even more successful dive from Who and Lip. Backlines traded, high ground still under control of the Fusion, but the payload is steadily moving. We're nearly onto the bridge, and that's when things get dangerous for the defense.
Nano used there onto Who Are You, but Lip taken out. Chasing into the back, he's trying to get Fixa. Sliver of HP remaining here for the Lucio, but will manage to stay alive at least for a little bit longer. Aim God and Zest, however, do end up getting eliminated in the end. Fate with the Primal Rage juggles up MN3, gets that elimination. The cart in the meantime still pushing forward, just now getting ready to make its way to the bridge.
I mean, look at the ultimates. This is like Fusion versus Spark, Route 66 all over again. 4 ultimates. Got to use some of these fellas. We've got to get into the fight zone. We're nearly capped on B as well, finding it's the same point as R66. Jumped off his Bellisria. That's actually going to force a Primal because Bellisria might have been booped off the map.
Yep, he has to pop it. Now he's going to be slept into the back line. That drains some time away from the ultimate. Just 2 seconds remaining. A final leap into the back line, but he can't displace anybody. He can't knock anybody from the Dragons forward onto the bridge and then find some picks from there. So in the end, the Primal not really finding too much as it had to be used in desperation.
Really good for economy, though.
Through. Yep,
Just
there's the dive in from
ultimate
Fate,
out.
gets himself
Good.
onto the high ground. Blade's going to be pulled from Who Are You. Anti goes down, but it doesn't clip the Genji. It only finds Slip. He's going to be able to Wraith walk away. Still holds onto the Death Blossom. Now Zest, shielded up from the sound barrier, goes into the back line, finds one, looks for a little bit more with the Dragon Blade. Seems like the Fusion should be able to close out this fight as Fate will be the last one to fall.
Time.
Sliver of HP here for him. He needs to die now.
Staggered. Yeah,
Massive
staggered out,
stagger.
time's run out. Who Are You's coming back onto a Tracer as well. There's less than 10 seconds. It's going to be Lijiang going for the touch. Now, if he is booped away, it's going to come down to Fix. If Fix can get rid of Lijiang, they are not going to touch in time.
Oh, okay, Who Are You? He manages the dash in. He's got the recall out, but they still need Lijiang to be the follow-up. He's making his way forward. They cannot boop him away. Up here onto the high ground now. MN3 looking for a target. They get pushed away from the Helix rocket, but the TAC Visor still manages to find the elimination on Lijiang, and that's 3% shy of the sound barrier for him. The rest of the team now needs to try to buy some time for Lijiang to rejoin so they can get that shield. Fate so close. Gets the Primal Rage online. The Death Blossom comes in from Lip. He manages to find 2. Him got an MN3. Yet again, going to be falling, it seems like once more. When it looks like the Fusion should be able to get the hold at a point, the Dragons say no. They put their foot down, they persevere, they get the clutch, they bump up the time bank once more. Just a minute and a half to try to attack through the castle.
A trade there, but a stag onto MN3 that'll give some free push availability for the Dragons. Less than 130 remaining. Probably not expecting them to cap at this stage. Why are you going back to the Genji, no doubt? And you have to look 2 fights back, because 2 fights back, there was no Lijiang or Izayaki support ultimates. This time there is. Nano gets used by Izayaki, and Lip ends up carrying that fight via the Death Blossom. And I think the sort of bait as well, you thought that Lijiang, I thought that Lijiang was going to go for the touch. Probably Fusion thought that as well. Ends up being Who Are You that gets it, and now the sound barrier in.
Yeah, they get the sleep onto Bellisria, so they want to beat aggressively. They push forward, but now Fate gets traded out. Now Izayaki is going to be gone, so not going to be getting too much distance off of this sound barrier from Lijiang. Instead, the cleanup will come through. They just get the Primal out of the side of the Fusion. Now the cart going to be held inside of the castle. Can't even make it to the final corner.
They're going towards Azari here, and like I did say Ryan, but you would have to change a lot of heroes to make the Ryan work, right? Who Are You? Probably have to go towards the Mei. Izayaki look towards the BAP. There's no time to change that many players. Just change only the Fate player. Have the bubbles carry through with Lip nearly on a Blossom. That's their best chance to get things through. But nearly 3 ultimates online for the Fusion, looking to hold this one.
Visor, the Nano to go with it. Sound barrier aggressively here, this time from the side of Fixa, and it comes up huge for them as 3 kills instantly come up in the kill feed for the side of the Fusion. Just looking for one last one. It's going to be Lijiang, who cannot force out for overtime. Gets gunned down. That's as far as the cart will make it. Shanghai Dragons thought maybe, just given how close they were to being held on A and B, would be able to clutch through for the point C contest, but not quite. A minute and a half, just not enough to work with. The beat from Lijiang, a bit too wanting, it would seem. Fusion now have a wind condition to try to move up 2-0.
It's a pretty good place for the Fusion to have completed the hold as well, because we don't have the payload too deep into C territory, kind of just around the first bend. That's a pretty capable position on this next offense, assuming A and B goes smoothly. But for the Shanghai Dragons, definitely overstaying their welcome on the attack, considering they nearly lost out on B entirely, had to clutch out on B. Typical Shanghai Dragons clutch, misdirecting who was going to end up touching the payload, so no chance of a Shang 9 there. And then the Lip Death Blossom to carry them through. So the bonus distance on C is just that. It's bonus, because they probably weren't expected to get to C based on what was remaining. The fact that they get some bonus is reasonable. I'm a little bit concerned about how long it took Dragons to get A, though. That was really slow from them. It was a failed fight as well, when both teams had a lot of ultimates, a lot of resets. On the Dragons, B was slightly smoother, but lack of time. Time was the biggest issue there.
Let's see what they have to work with here. Now shifting to the attack. Fusion. Overall, good defense. I mean, nearly that full hold coming to fruition. Can't quite make it happen, though. Let's see if they can breach the defenses of the Shanghai Dragons. Who are you and Fate? Immediately going to have to make their exit, as they had a pretty forward start. A bit of damage. Go ahead and pull away. Dive into the back. Bellisria is going to be zapping, keeping the supports occupied for now. Fate, yep, here on the high ground. Going to be knocked down, and he gets picked up. Fate going to fall. It's at the cost of Fixa, though. So the healing going to be taken out there from the side of the Fusion. Shanghai Dragons.
This is
they don't just lose one for free, but it's still rough.
This is good for Fusion, because Fixes on Lucio can just get back straight away. Fate's on a Winston. We'll have to try and get back slowly. I mean, despite the lead being that there's a small 5v4 window that Fusion can use. They got to move forward now. Bellisria already taking position. Fate's back now.
Yep, he has re-arrived, leaping over the wall. Into the back, the call comes through, but the dive and the anti-nade is perfect from the side of AimGod, but he ends up falling. Who are you? Really, coming alive now. Dashes in, gets AimGod, gets MN3 in the follow-up. He himself going to fall low, but they play this out perfectly. Zest slicing and dicing is looking for some more targets, but he's antied with no HP to work with, so ends up dying in the end. So there's a couple eco pushes overall from the side of the Fusion thus far, not finding any purchase on the point.
Rescued by Who Are You and Lip getting a number of frags there. Lip's also on a soldier being taxied by Lijiang, so should be able to get back in time. Yeah, you're not going to see any dives coming through from the Fusion just yet. Slow ultimates, I'm going to say, from both sides. Lip will be the first one looking for an ultimate just now. Liza online for this particular fight. Almost 2 minutes gone as well. Just 130. Yeah, he's done a lot of damage.
Yeah, he's best. I mean, look where MN3 is at right now, but he beats both of the Anas to the Nanos, which are just now coming online. Lip going to be the recipient of that. Pops the attack visor and is just charging forward looking for a target, and there's just no way for Fixa to survive. They try to trade it back there with the Helix rocket, but MN3 ends up getting taken down. Lijiang right there on top of Zest as well. They find the final eliminations. Still put a considerable amount of damage into Bellisria as he's trying to survive, but oh, he hasn't made it back into the spawn room, but it seems like they will give up the chase. They realize how far forward they are, but they find the additional staggers in the end. AimGod taking down Bellisria, tries to come to his rescue, but then ends up just dying all the same. MN3 will narrowly survive, and this is a gorgeous hold here from the side of the Shanghai Dragons.
Yeah, not going to let Fusion get away that round with saving weapons right now, I'm saying. Shanghai Dragons.
Yep.
What a play. I mean, a perfect stagger. The fact that MN3 ended up being one of the first players down, respawns, and Bellisria dies. That's got to be... that's painful for Fusion, for sure. That's the maximum time loss that you can possibly hope for.
Yep, there's the dive into the back. Primal here from Bellisria, juggling Izayaki around. Doesn't manage to get the elimination. Now has overstepped. Lip will hunt him. Getting the shots across as he tries to leap out to safety. Cannot do so. 1-for-1 there in the extended fight, but Fate still very much alive. Primal now expired. The visor does come through. He's looking for a target. So far, it's only been into the Winston. The anti now connecting, and Zest will be there for the alley-oop. They set up for the play. They get the elimination. Now they find themselves here on the point. Recontest still could come in, though. Who are you? He's half HP. He's pulling the blade. The heals try to come through, but they cannot keep him sustained. Fixa says nope. Gets that elimination. Attack visor here on the high ground from Lip will be good for 1, but MN3 cuts him down. And in the end, the cap will be there. 3 minutes and 10 seconds. And the Fusion are going to be breathing a sigh of relief that Dragons actually decided to commit for the hold.
Except that we've seen that commit work so well for Dragons in so many previous fights. That is the building blocks for a typical Shanghai Dragons clutch. This time shut down successfully by the Fusion. Put the damage to Who Are You, no more Blade. Lip doesn't have any healing as well. He's just got his own heal pad to work through. Fate's not even there to buy space. And the double DPS ultimate's not going to find value at all. That's huge for the Fusion. Now moving into B. 2 less ultimates to deal with. Still have to deal with this Nano coming online. It's the only ultimate available.
That's just, I mean, he's diving back in. He doesn't care that he's got 41 HP, but he certainly should. Ends up going down. Fate just going to be claiming him and the Lucio. Cart for now inching forward, sleep onto the high ground, but now a dive into the back line. The assistance of Lijiang results in Aim got it and MN3 dying, so Fusion are going to have to go for a reset. And that's good from Shanghai Dragons. I mean, they say, you know what, we can just keep throwing ourselves at the Fusion. Even if we die, there's a lot of distance that they have to make up for and not a lot of time to do it.
It's a typical Dragons lose 1 play but trade 2, right? You've seen so many times they're down 4v5 and then they trade successfully and win the fight anyway. So 4v5 turns into 4v3, a little bit of payload push coming on through as we're waiting for Aim God to get the Nano in. Speaking of which, Who Are You receives.
I mean, he's just into the back line. He kills 2. Look at him. He's in front of the spawn room. He comes up with 2 kills. They tried to go back to Peel, but it was far too late. No one can get there. No one can kill him. Shanghai Dragons just continue to play right out in front of the spawns.
Nearly a team wipe there as well, and Belisari the only surviving member, so don't quite get the tank, but Lip gets a little bit more ult charge. It's kind of what you're waiting for, right? You're building time, you're waiting to have Who Are You and Lip get these ultimates back online. They use both of them to try and hold on to A just a little bit earlier. The fact that Fusion have not really moved the payload or 1 fight since then is pretty concerning, as Lip is now looking for that visor. It's going to be unsupported, but it will still be a Lip visor.
Okay, Nano going to be used here for the Blade. Goes up onto the high ground. Izayaki instantly vanishing. Second swipe. Finds Lip. He looks for a little bit more, trying to soften up. Fate can't make it happen. Who Are You now going to get dropped? Fate will just go ahead, allow himself to die. Says, yeah, it's not worth me popping the Primal. We've nearly got 4 ultimates ready to go. So we'll hold on to it as there's just a minute remaining. The cart now finally being able to be pushed forward by the Fusion.
And Zest we trust here to open the door for the Fusion to start this payload movement again. Less than 1 minute. But there is now Bridge around the corner. And an important fight to come up now. This is the one for
Fate.
the side of the Shanghai Dragons with Fate even on 1 HP. He's got Primal, he's okay. He's
dead.
Not pop the Primal and die, I guess. He jumped! He jumped out of the bubble, didn't pop the Primal. I thought he was going to pop the Primal, but he just dies. That's a humongous blunder from the Shanghai Dragons.
It is, and that means that the cap is just going to come in here, it would seem. No, 0.83 meters left to go. Sound barrier going to be dropped. Who Are You? Oh, he was slept there for a moment. Can he make it out? Yeah, he's got the second hop left. Gets himself out to a safe position. Lip here on the high ground with attack visor, sends the Helix rockets, but they do not find an elimination. In the meantime, the cart has pushed through. There's a minute and 40 seconds remaining now for the side of the Fusion, and they only have a Primal Rage for the Dragons to contest this. The Nano will be there for Izayaki as well, but that is not ideal whatsoever. The cart starting to make its way through into the castle. Bionade will slow them up, though.
Fate. Daddy Moon's not going to be happy about that later on. Nano coming on through for Izayaki. They need this one to work for them. A minute 15. It's still workable for the Shanghai Dragons, but Fusion have been gifted a B cap and now gifted a kill as well.
Warrior's dead. Yep, Lip. He does get the Nano here. He's charging forward, trying to play the corner. Everybody just pulls out of the castle. They give up the space. They say it's okay. We still have a minute. Just wait out that Nano. They do so. Fate now up into the front lines. Pops the Primal. He's instantly slept. They shut him down. He finally uses it, and he's not going to find anything for it. Just into the back line. And then 3 gets Lip. The DPS duo nearly gone. Who Are You trying to stay alive here with the Tracer as they need to keep this card contested, but they are just zoned away. Who Are You dashes forward, ends up dying, and the Fusion will make it happen. Slim margins the whole way throughout. It looked like the Shanghai Dragons were going to be able to pull it off, but they cannot. The Fusion get the map win, and now they move up to 0.
And it's at this point in the winner bracket, 2 teams there at the top. The slimmest of margins, Achilles. Honestly, the slimmest of margins. If Fate pops the Primal or just doesn't die, touches payload, Lip and Who Are You have ultimates, support's coming online with ultimates, completely different fight. That was looking super winnable for the Shanghai Dragons for B. At minimum, let's say they even lose B. They force ultimates out of Fusion. Economically, it's not good for the Fusion moving into C. Also, a lot of time wasted. Fusion would have to take a while to cap B as well. Everything is completely different if Shanghai Dragons actually got a good fight on B and didn't just have Fate randomly die. I don't know, is that some 300 MS thing happening here? Who's to say?
I don't know.
But what I can say is it will cost the Shanghai Dragons a map.
Yeah, I don't have the answers for it. All I know is that it just didn't look very concise. It didn't look very cohesive from the side of the Dragons, and now we have to ask the question, is it a 3-0 sweep once more for the Fusion? Can they do it twice? Or can the Dragons rally back, be them clutch selves in these last potential 3 maps, and pull off a reverse sweep to make their way into the grand final of the Kickoff Clash? I do not know. I do not have the answers. All I know is everybody who was in the chat who said that no carpe, no win, you have been proven wrong. MN3 helps them get across the line in the end, so I'm expecting everybody to say, I'm sorry, Ilios, because, yeah, you done goofed. 2-0 lead, though, for the side of the Fusion. Reverse sweep necessary for the Dragons. We'll see if they can make it happen. It's their map pick yet again. Has not been the biggest boon for them, though. We'll see what they select for Escort. We'll see if they can get the win when we come back from the break. And we are back. I pose the question, is the 3-0 sweep going to happen once more? The Fusion, they certainly want to make it a reality. The Shanghai Dragons, though, need to fight back, need to pull off a reverse sweep if they want to stay in the upper side of the bracket, if they want to go straight in to that grand final. Otherwise, they will once again have to square off against the Seoul Dynasty. Watchpoint Gibraltar is what they have elected for our escort map. Avril, we'll see if they can start a reverse sweep there.
I'm battling two different sides here, Ilios, in terms of where my train of thought is. On one hand, I'm like, it's the Shanghai Dragons, you know, this is where they level up. 0-2 down, who cares? I mean, they reverse sweep, they win map 5s, this is exactly what the Dragons want to do. Then the other part of me is like, but actually, the Fusion did 3-0 them last time. They're the only team to actually beat the Dragons, they're the only team to 3-0 the Dragons, maybe Fusion was just 3-0 the Dragons. Again, it's part of the storyline here, it's part of the narrative that, well, obviously, Ilios, Fusion have to get to the grand finals, because otherwise, how could they come second?
True. That's maybe you've actually mathed it out. You've solved the long time equation that has been puzzling us for quite some time. I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I unfortunately don't have the answers, and I don't want the answers. I'm all aboard this wild ride.
You gotta get them. You gotta get
so
the
far.
answers in this next map.
We are gonna get the answers.
maybe
That's
further.
very true. And it would be such a scary thing, I think, for the Fusion fans and just for everybody kind of generally who's watching this, if the Shanghai Dragons can get a concise win on Gibraltar, because we know what they can do when they start getting some wind in their sails. If they can get this map picked up, then that fear will just be struck into the hearts of the players here on the side of the Fusion that a reverse sweep absolutely is possible. But they are looking to put their foot down. They're looking to completely and utterly avoid that. And so far, they have been looking incredibly good.
Here's what I will say in terms of Fusion here. That ability to hold on and counter clutch, when I say counter clutch, I mean stop the Shanghai Dragons from doing typical Shanghai things where they're losing but then they win anyway, which is to say that A-point final defense where Fate dies and Lip and Huayu both pop ultimates against any other team. Dragons probably clutch there and they win that fight, keep holding on to A. Versus Fusion, they stop that straight in its tracks. That's the Fusion you need to see continue in this series to prevent the Dragons from doing typical Dragon BS level stuff coming through that we've seen every single other map, every single other series, but it still is the Shanghai Dragons and it's hard to count them out. The problem is, even being 2-0 here, it's not impossible the Shanghai Dragons to actually reverse sweep. You don't beat the Dragons until you get the 3 on the board before they do. Without it sounding too obvious to me, versus any other team, I'd say Fusion have this 3-0, maybe even 3-1, doesn't matter, versus Dragons. It's just so hard to count them out. So hard.
Look at this setup. They are ready for this forward scout from Fate. They're anticipating that he's going to leap forward. They show a couple members on the bridge. Does he realize how stacked up this is? Okay, now everyone swings the corner. It'll be Immortality Field forced out. So Shanghai Dragons also had a very good read on that play from the side of the Fusion. Want to make sure that they don't get that instant punish. Lijiang going to be swapping over to the Brigida now to match with Fix-Up, as the Widowmakers will be let loose, and we'll see who can have the upper hand here, MN3 or Lip.
Yeah, well, Lip has been pretty decent on the sniper, but as DS said on his social media on Weibo, he believes that MN3 is the best Widowmaker in the APAC region, especially in the Widowmaker 1v1. So if that is to be the case, Lip will have his work cut out for him, but it is Lip. Grand Finals MVP Lip. Payload has been steadily pushing along for the Dragons. Decent amount of progression so far.
Yep, just got it set there at the bottom of the underpass. A little bit of pressure being applied to Lip, but they can't find a kill. Anti goes out on the 2 on the side of the Fusion. Aim God gonna be okay, though, as Lip just looks for that little pop shot. Won't lead to too much of anything, however, as the Fusion just backing away, giving up some distance, as the card is going to be inched here to the top of the ramp. Zest will move forward to contest against Who Are You.
Decent amount of slowdown now. Fate's going to continue that one as well. You do notice that Fusion have given up high ground control for the most part. Dragons have taken that with very little fanfare. Now Fusion are going to attempt to try and force it back towards their own side. Server control is still for Fusion, so they can work that together. They have a bit of a crossfire set up currently.
Good dinks again, just hitting Bellisria whenever he tries to go for these dives. Haven't been able to get
Aim
the full
God.
punish yet, though. As, yep, a little bit of pressure. They spot the supports over here at the server room. Start making their way back over to the point properly. As Who Are You says, okay, I've got control. Yeah. He's like, I'm in the server room. I'm hacking him.
Well, he doesn't have a lot of HP. The problem is AimGod has this nano. They haven't used it. They have a nano advantage, but not quite doing too much with it right now. Iziaki there to match. 2 minutes remaining. Payload is up the hill. That's exactly where the Dragons want it to be. Zest has Blade. That's 50% above Who Are You. And now that they have Blade and Nano, it's going to be the Nano Blade.
Okay, the blade is going to be pulled. Goes into the back. Gets a little bit of damage there onto Lijiang. The sleep connects, and everybody collapses to get the elimination. Zest shut down. That's 2 ults out of the fight. Now Fate goes forward. Primal Rage going to be rolling for him. Gets in on top of MN3. Pressures at the Widowmaker. Opens up a lot of space here for the cart to now advance. Minute 38 seconds remaining. Somebody's got to contest. Bilos Rhea up over the top. Will jump back down. Does have the Primal to rely on, as you say. Utilize that to try to buy some more time here, and he's going to go ahead and pop it. Fate going to be eliminated. Zest finds that kill. They did lose MN3 in the back lines there. Izayaki fighting for a little bit longer, but Aim God finally gets a shot through. Connects onto the enemy. Ana opens it up, and Lijiang, the only support left alive here for the side of Shanghai Dragons, is not going to be able to do a damn thing. Lip will end up dying, and just a couple meters away, it looks a little bit scary there for the side of Fusion, but they will manage to hold it.
It's another, backline trading scenario here. Okay, Lip is going to go Tracer. He's done with the Widow duel for now. Payload is far up enough that they want to just duel this one out. It does mean that Who Are You or Fate needs to deal with them in 3 in the next fight, but regardless, Fate dying there means no more further push. Bellatrix can't die because he's got the Primal. Rally being popped by the Lijiang, and we're going to move forward with Bellatrix.
He's slept up on the high ground, and no one can come to his rescue. He ends up falling down. Lip going to be forced to use that recall instantly here. Gets quite a bit of damage down on his Zest, but now he's down to 5 HP. Wraps around the side, gets the mini pack. It's not enough for him to survive. In the meantime, the blade is there from Who Are You. The card is advanced forward onto point A. Now it's 3 minutes in the time bank as they look for the cleanup kills. And they will just go ahead and dash through Who Are You, picking up both supports as the cart is going to start advancing into the hangar.
Unlucky for Lip there. Yeah, looks a little bit rusty on the Tracer today. Actually whiffs a blink, beefs that one for sure. But they'll still get the cap regardless, so getting rid of Bellatrix at the start of the fight. Brilliant stuff. And now, moving towards the shuttle phase. High ground control instantly taken by the Dragons. Now, usually when you have a Widowmaker here, you're in a great spot. Fate forced the Primal. At least he uses the Primal this time.
That's very true. Keeps himself alive. The anti was on him as well, so really needed to pop that there. Goes down low, though, still continues taking a couple shots as he goes back up on top of the dropship. Bellatrix, in the meantime, just going to be keeping the cart halted as Lip is just poking and prodding from around the back there. Dash away, predicts that the shot is going to be flying towards him, but Lijiang can't keep the shield up. Ends up dying. MN3 with a nice little opener there. And it's just Lip and Izayaki trying to escape, but the latter will not be allowed to.
And there's no more ultimates now for the side of the Dragons, minus the Nano coming online. Pretty good position for the Fusion to be in. Less than 2 minutes remaining. 4 ults online, nearly 5. Full control. They have the Widowmaker as well. This is going to be tough for Dragons to break on through. And now, even if Lip was on a Widowmaker, hard to get sight lines when you have no positioning to walk in from. So, I guess I rate the Tracer as long as Lip can do things on the Tracer. It's up to MN3 now. I think he's in the perfect position to carry the team. Infrasight will be pretty large here as well, considering how slow Dragons are playing. Being able to see exactly how they want to move is going to be big.
Okay, Bionade not going to hit. Fate jumps away from that. They know that he's down in the lower ground, though. He started applying some pressure, and Lip as well, caught down here, ends up dying. So let's go ahead, chase each other, zap, exchange some leaps in the opposite direction, but Zest is there for the final kill. That's a good amount of time bought now. As the Shanghai Dragons again have to reset. Good pincher here from the side of the Fusion.
Well, it's one of the few times an Infrasight actually gets you a fight win off that ultimate alone. So you don't normally see that.
Yeah.
But the Infrasight gives you all the vision in terms of how Dragons are moving, and they're caught in the sort of respawn A defense area. You know, I'm talking about in the underside of the point. And they can't escape right, and the Infrasight reveals them. So, I mean, that one ultimate finding 2 players with a value is unheard of.
Well, they'll be happy that they popped it for sure. Now 35 seconds remaining. A couple ults to work with. The Blade, the Rally, not too far away here from the side of the Dragons, but 4 ults ready to roll at any given moment here from the side of the Fusion. Look to pull off this point B hold. Lip taking quite a bit of damage now, going to be forced to recall. Dive into the back, Zest gets the Nano, pulls the Blade, has the deflect up, still eats the anti, but gets his target of Izayaki. Now he looks for a little bit more. That's Lijiang dead as well. The wipe nearly completed. His Fate is the last one alive, and they can just stagger him out. It's only 8 seconds remaining. He's got to get the hell out of here, but he cannot do so. Cannot get the Primal, and that should just about be it. No one is going to be able to touch. So just a little bit in front of point B is as far as they need to go for the Fusion to take this 3-0.
And all that needed to happen there was a really, really good fight win coming through via Infrasight, then Dragons being reset, and a final fight where Zest gets the pull Blade before Who Are You. Why? Because Who Are You doesn't have the Blade. What you need to see out of Dragons is probably that Izayaki just pops a Nano onto Who Are You anyway, because if you lose that fight, you simply lose the entire attack. It's done. You don't have more time. Izayaki's the first one dead. Nano goes on Who Are You, he maybe looks for the blade, you can still rescue that fight. The fact that Dragons end up losing that final engagement with multiple ultimates still online, with a Primal nearly there, it is heartbreaking because they were moments away from actually being able to compete. But Fusion's timings for their ultimates coming online just a little bit earlier are actually having saved them, because we remember during that shuttle phase, after losing B initially, when they regain control, 5 ultimates, perfect economy. It's exactly the kind of position you want to be in for that type of defense. And that's after already bleeding down the A timer reasonably well as well, you know, quite a bit of significant time lostage. That's Fusion putting themselves in the driver's seat for an actual 3-0. It's looking extremely likely now.
And that it is. Fusion just a couple more steps to take. We saw how rough things got a bit there on Eichenwalde, but they still managed to persevere and push through. See if they can do that again here on Gibraltar. And I mean, the other thing to just bear in mind is this has been the map selection of the Dragons the whole way through. So if they lose here, it draws up a hell of a lot more questions about their performance here today. Dive onto the high ground there from Bellisria, puts the bubble down to make sure that he can't get antied out. Instead, he'll actually take a sleep dart and fall down to the cart. Either way, is safe for the time being. Lip cutting around the right-hand side, tries to get an angle to get a shot through, and Zest is unable to find it.
I definitely think Lip probably got off the Widowmaker a little bit too early on that attack as well, so we'll see if he can stay on this one a little bit longer. Probably better to and easier to play the Widowmaker on the defense compared to the offense. MN3 constantly on 1 HP. It's damage from Lip. I mean, look at Lip's damage compared to MN3's just from the ult charge.
Yeah, I mean, he tapped him in the head. It's just not enough of a charge up there on the right click to be able to get the full elimination. Otherwise, would have been able to take him out of the fight very quickly. Doesn't manage it, but still some nice shots.
A couple of 140s, and I'm saying, yeah, I got all these references today. Don't worry about it. Maybe a 145, depending on what you're using. Still, a minute gone. Oh, there it is. That's the shot we were looking for. Finally, Lip gets the kill into MN3. He's been waiting.
And 140 is what you're going to need to pour out of the ground here. The Fusion can get this victory, pour one out for the Shanghai Dragons. See what happens, though. Lip looking like he's a lot more comfortable with the defensive sightlines compared to the attack, as the infra sight is just 12% away now.
Fate's actually ahead in Primal as well, so a decent amount of damage being done here. Payload positioning is reasonable, just waiting to fight for this high ground. Ultimate's coming online to Nanos. Aim God again, outpacing Izayaki with the first Nano.
Just chipping away, trying to build up for the blade. 68% now here from Zest.
They're just trading damage
for
Nano Charge.
Who are you? But Fate says, okay, that's fine. And he now has the Primal, so he can continue to play a little bit more recklessly here. And Izayaki nearly has the Nano as well to go. Just taking up all that healing, you know, keeping the Winston topped up. Bellisria into the back, though. Manages to find Lip. The Primal Rage now comes out. He'll be antied, but I don't think he's going to be all too concerned about it. He's looking for Who Are You. Dips around the back of the server room. Plays elusively. Manages to climb up over the top and escape, but yeah. Now the Nano Blade absolutely can come through should they decide to pull it here. Dive onto the cart there from Fate. The Primal now going to be expiring. He gets forced off the high ground. Bellisria just holding the position here for his squad. Lip with the infrasight rolling, keeping tabs on the members of the Fusion. It seems like they're content to wait this out.
The only thing stopping the Nano Blade was the infrasight, because they could see where Zest was going to come from. Now the infrasight is gone. Zest and Aim God should be able to make their mark. Could they buy enough time for Who Are You? The infrasight gave them time for Who Are You to get something done, and he'll die.
Yeah, he will die, fortunately.
So will Fate.
You know, not with a blade in his hand. He ends up dying before he can even pull the blade. But yeah, Fate goes down now, and that really opens it up for the Fusion to get this cap. And they need to get it with as much time as they possibly can, because we know how much you can get slowed up in the hangar phase. So if they want to win this here, they need to get this cap.
Oh, that
in the next few seconds for themselves. Yes, it is. Right as the recontest was getting ready to come through, pops this. Tries to hold them back. They will manage to make their way out onto the cart. The deflect already going to be used there from Who Are You as he waits to pull the blade. See if he gets an opportunity for it. Flank coming around that left-hand side, I do believe. And yeah, he's been spotted. Who Are You now diving in. He's looking for MN3. Lijiang in the meantime is going to be taken down. It will be a trade out. And yeah, the cap does come through in the meantime. MN3, he's being occupied by Who Are You, but he doesn't care. They get the bump up with the time back. It's 2.5 more minutes added into the clock for the Fusion.
Dragons are sleeping. They are sleeping at the wheel. What is going on? How does Fixer get a solo kill to Lijiang? Oh, no rallies being used here. Didn't even have to use a Nano Blade. That's an infrasight for a cap. Bellisria gets a kill into Fate as well. It's just more staggered. It's just a free cap on A. Dragons, they've fallen apart.
This could be very much, I was going to say the beginning of the end, but it began a long time ago if this is how it's going to end up. Lip looking for a target, doesn't see anything, sees the drop down coming through, and yeah, then they still hold on to it. They didn't have to use anything at all. Fixer still holds his own rally. Fusion have so many tools to work with. They're nearly going to be matched, though. Siaki not too far off from having the nano boost available, but maybe he's not going to be able to build it, because there it goes. Zest draws out the Dragon Blade. Now who are you going to try to match? The rally rolling, trying to keep him alive, but Zest cuts down Lijiang, interrupting that rally. Who are you, though? Managing to make up for a bit there, as he does come up with 3 kills off the back of the Dragon Blade. Look at these Winstons now. Primal Rage rolling. He's going to dive into the back, look for the elimination onto Lip. He's got a sliver of HP remaining, and Zest is there for the alley-oop to get the kill, and now they just have to get through Fate. The rest of the team trying to rotate back. Rio will make his exit, though. Goes a little bit too low for comfort. He'll get top back up. They say, it's okay. The card is close. We still have 2 minutes to work with.
Where are the ultimates? He's dead again. That was the only ultimate. That was a nano taken off the table. MN3 might have just gotten the kill that they require.
A huge pick off from him. They're still contesting the card for now. They're trying to keep it locked in place. The nano boost coming back into the fight. This is Iziaki trying to join in, but MN3 goes absolutely monstrous. Gets 2 kills, and that is enough. They clear the card in the Fusion. They've done it yet again. They take down the Dragons. A sweep against the #1 seed in the region, and they will move forward into the grand final.
It's been a couple of weeks since we last saw the Fusion this good, but the MN3-0 is back, baby. 3-0 scoreline. It's always the Dragons versus the Fusions, or at least it's just been only 2 of these so far, but hey, it counts. Twice they've met. Twice it's been a 3-0. Twice the rookies of the Fusion will take down the veteran squad of the Dragons, the defending champions, and now in the losers bracket, and Fusion guaranteed spot in the grand finals of the Kickoff Clash.
And this is what everyone wanted to see from the Fusion. They come in here, they have these rookies, they have their tragedy in the offseason, and they start things off fantastically. I told you guys to just wait when they were having their dips. They started underperforming, they looked rough around the edges. You just had to give them a little bit of time to get practiced up and to come back into it strong. That's exactly what they did here with this tournament. They are not slacking off whatsoever. Absolutely incredible shots there from MN3. I mean, you're talking about the high praise that Dia was giving him, saying best Widowmaker in all of APAC. He really took that to heart and kind of proved it a bit here at the end of that map. I mean, 2 quick kills to just completely wipe the board here. Just take away those members on the side of the Shanghai Dragons and make sure that they did not have any hope whatsoever of pulling off that defense. Their map picks the whole way through. Didn't matter. The Fusion, they knew how to do it. The only time they looked rocky was on that first Rocky. That was not even a pun, the Rocky thing, Philadelphia. The only time that they looked rocky was on that first map of Lijiang Tower, and they managed to figure it out. They got the counter strat by the time that we went into Control Center, and they were able to finish it off. Beautifully done by the Fusion, and a very well-earned spot in the grand finals. Let's just go ahead and take a look at our player of the match. It's going to be Fixa. Because why not? Guys, just... Woo! Incredible.
Which Rocky movie, by the way, was the one that he actually won the fight instead of losing at the end?
I don't even remember. It's been a while.
It's,
I think it was 2.
Let's just say it's 2. Well, this is Rocky 2. You know, we had a very rocky sort of stage for the Philadelphia Fusion overall, peaks and troughs. Now we found out 2 peaks. Apparently, they just happened during the Dragons games. Fixa, player of the match, and I've had my eyes on Fixa for a while. I actually even felt like Fixa deserved player of the match in our previous series, but Zest came out, completely dominated. Zest had a great day today as well, but it's time to give the main supports a bit of love because this guy's been hella underrated. I mean, people talk about, they look at the Philadelphia Fusion backline and you think, oh no, our supports, they're not as good as Lijiang and Iziaki. Well, today I think, to be honest with you, I felt like they played better than Lijiang and Iziaki, and that's a crazy thing to say. So Fixa will finally get the player of the match. As a reminder, he also had that, sorry, that was actually Vindane yesterday, but it's a lot of these rookie main sports having great moments, so you know what, they can all share in the glory. But, Fixa will be the one taking home the award.
Just utterly impeccable play from them. The Dragons not looking like themselves, and now they find themselves in a rematch down in the lower bracket finals versus the Seoul Dynasty. I mean, they certainly look out of sorts. Like you said.
Again.
Yeah, like you said, this is one of those teams where you can't say that you're winning until you have that 3 come up on the screen for yourselves. Seoul Dynasty, they're the 3rd seed. They already have the 3 on their screen, so maybe they can get this time. Maybe that's just a preview of the score.
Hey, they
the
had
second
that
time around.
yesterday too, by the way. They had this 3rd seed yesterday too, by the way, but
I know.
didn't
I just jest. I see it in front of my face. I decided to call it as a joke. But
How
yeah,
was it?
the
How
other
was
one
it
is-
yesterday? We had 3-1, 3-2, and now it's back-to-back 3-0s. I was legitimately thinking we'd go throughout an entire bracket without a single 3-0 because it was looking like it'd be that close. But now, you know, it's the yellow/orange team day. You know, the yellow-orange teams did good. The pink team, the red team, no go, not good. Shanghai,
Yeah.
big disappoint. Massive mistakes coming through. The Rhine composition on control on the first map at Lijiang, I mean, makes sense on control center. They win on gardens because I guess the ball wasn't very good, but ultimately I don't think it's wise to play the Rhine on all three sub-maps. Talk about the Fate throw on Eichenwalde as well as the double DPS throw on Eichenwalde A defense as well. And then generally speaking on Gibraltar, just, you know, got outpaced, low economy, got held on B, brilliant plays by the Fusion, and an extremely poor showing by Dragons compared to what we saw yesterday. Weird day, but congrats to Fusion. Deserved win. Grand finalists.
Yeah.
It's been a while, Fusion, but welcome
It
back to the
has
Grand
been.
Finals.
A very, very long time for them and a long time coming, but you love to see the improvement here across the season from the rookies who are able to start off hot and then get right back into that form when it really matters. So they find themselves in the grand final. We still don't know who they're going to be playing against, though, of course, because that's got to be decided tomorrow. Dynasty, yet again, going up against the Shanghai Dragons. It has been the bane of their existence, this team, for such a long time. But with the Dragons looking how they look today, there's a hell of a lot of improvement, a hell of a lot of stability that needs to be found in less than 24 hours for this squad, because the Dynasty are going to be absolutely starving to finally beat them to make their way as well into another grand finals. So that is going to be a clash that you do not want to miss. I love the way that things are heating up here on the side of APAC. The script is thrown out. We never know what to anticipate. Dragons could very well still make it. They very well could go into that grand final and potentially improve themselves and get the better of Fusion for the first time this season. I don't know. I just know that I can't wait to watch it. And I hope that you guys will be watching it too. Because we're going to be back same time, same place tomorrow for more of that APAC action. And I'm going to change it up a little bit here, Avril. How about you close the show for once? Surprise.
And that's going to be it, fellas. Grand Finals day tomorrow. Lower bracket final there as well. Killian and I's the AA casters. We'll be back once again. Fusion finally back in the finals. It's been a long time coming, and we can't wait to see what happens. So we'll see y'all tomorrow for more APAC action. The kickoff clash concludes all tomorrow. See you later.
Beautifully done.
We love you, casters. We'll see you tomorrow. Ilios and Avril.
Close your eyes. 60 seconds. You're powered up. Get in there.